Chapter 266. After returning to their senses, the 6 hearts abruptly tensed up. Among them, Ma Hongjun was the most nervous. Don't tell me he was always nearby, able to hear our conversation? Ma Hongjun stared at that figure in front of him. He remembered very clearly what he had said just now. He hadn't expected the other party to actually appear. 2 confrontations. Even though each time it was the other party who had laid a trap for them. The 7 of them hadn't been able to deal with it even once. But now the other party had directly appeared, and even brought 2 spirit beasts that they needed incomparably. Flender, didn't you sense him just now? Zhao Wuji said in a low voice. I didn't sense him at all. This was indeed somewhat frightening. He was a 70th ranked spirit sage. And Flender's 4-eyed cat-eagle spirit should reasonably have a clearer perception, if he also didn't know. Flender shook his head, looking at Lu Erlong. Don't look at me, I also didn't sense him. Lu Erlong indifferently said. Lu Erlong's words immediately shocked Zhao Wuji and Flender. Because among them, Lu Erlong was the strongest. If even she didn't sense him, that meant Xiao Gang. Is he really Xiao Feng? Flender pushed up his glasses. Even if Xiao Feng was even stronger, it was still impossible for them to not sense him, right? Being able to hear Ma Hongjuan's conversation just now meant he was definitely nearby. It should be him, otherwise he wouldn't need to capture these 2 spirit beasts. He might have obtained some kind of aura concealment spirit ability. Grandmaster shook his head. I don't know what spirit ability he has, somewhat formidable, even you were unable to sense him. Being able to make even a spirit sage unable to sense his surroundings, this spirit ability was probably not an ordinary kind of strong. Then now we'll just watch? Zhao Wuji scratched his head. Then let's watch. Lu Erlong walked to one side, her whole body still emitting an ice-cold aura, just in time to see their strength. Seeing this, Flender also sat to one side, his eyes slightly narrowed. Before falling to the ground, if they can touch the corner of their clothes, it's considered a loss. Listening to this tone, it's definitely Xiao Feng. It's just that it's a bit big. Not just big. The 7 people looked at that mysterious 6-ringed spirit emperor in a white robe and black mask. Their hearts all gave birth to a faint anger. Then let's give it a try. Tang San took a deep breath and said, if it's a frontal battle, we have a chance of winning. According to Grandmaster, a 6-ringed spirit emperor's special training would attack them at any time. But the previous 2 confrontations were all traps, especially the last time. It could be said to be an extremely cunning trap, which led to the instant annihilation. If it was a frontal battle, then the 7 of them had a very high chance of winning. Moreover, the other party's requirements were so low. Even a spirit Douluo level powerhouse dared not say that in front of the 7 of them, they could not even touch the hem of their clothes. Most importantly, there were still 2 soul beasts. This was very important to them, they had to win. Are you ready? The mysterious person's cold voice, no emotions could be heard. The opponent is an agility-type spirit emperor. He will be very fast, be careful. The blue-silver grass in Tang San's hands rose up, countless tentacles and vines enveloping the waists of the other 6. Attack. The moment Tang San's voice fell, the 7 all moved. Bind. Tang San's spirit abilities were the fastest to launch. He needed the first time to test the specific strength of this 6-ringed spirit emperor. Dai Mubai's white tiger body enhancement. His whole body suddenly swelled, platinum light flickering as he charged towards the mysterious person. Xiao Wu borrowed Tang San's hands, directly jumped into the air, attacking the mysterious person. Purple light flashed, and the fastest Zhu Zhuqing immediately arrived in front of the mysterious person. Her spirit having evolved into a serene moon fairy, her speed was so fast that even a 40-something ranked agility-type spirit master wouldn't be inferior. Purple golden claws in the pitch-black night sky drew an ice-cold arc, attacking towards the mysterious person. But the mysterious person didn't dodge. Both claws instantly fell on the mysterious person's mask. Zhu Zhuqing was startled. She was hit so easily? But when she touched that mask, Zhu Zhuqing's heart chilled, a dangerous aura rising from the bottom of her heart. The mutated serene moon fairy actually had an extremely special effect. That was, at night, her strength would explosively increase by 50%. It could be said that at night, she was the strongest of the 7. Even if Tang San didn't use hidden weapons and the 8 spider lances, he still couldn't beat her. Careful! That's an afterimage! Suddenly Tang San shouted. Unfortunately, the speed of sound transmission seemed to be even slower than the opponent's movement speed. When Zhu Zhuqing's claws touched the mask, she knew that the opponent basically wasn't in his original position. It was only because he moved too fast that it created an afterimage. Behind, an afterimage appeared. Pung! A palm instantly sent Zhu Zhuqing flying close to the 2 spirit beasts behind her. Tang San's blue-silver grass trapped at her waist couldn't even react. Too fast! Tang San muttered. This already exceeds our reaction speed. At night, Zhu Zhuqing's speed and reaction is already very fast. That palm just now, Zhu Zhuqing only slightly turned her eyes back and was hit. Careful of his speed. Tang San's 3rd layer purple demon eye once again surveyed the surroundings, wanting to clearly see the opponent's figure. But even the 3rd layer purple demon eye could only barely make out the afterimage the opponent left behind. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. At this moment, Ning Rongrong's 9 treasure star tile pagoda slowly brightened, several rays of light falling on the 3 people. Because Zhu Zhuqing's speed was too fast just now, Ning Rongrong's incantation hadn't even fallen, and then she was sent flying. At this moment, Ning Rongrong's boost fell on them. The 9 treasure star tile pagoda's group boost was extremely frightening. From 30th rank to 40th rank, each spirit ability's boost increased by 10%. Adding the 20% additional boost after mutation, each of her spirit abilities reached a terrifying 70%. The further back, the more exaggerated the boost. This was the boost attribute of an ordinary 70th rank 7 treasure glazed tile pagoda spirit master. Several rays of light fell on everyone. His gaze also fell on Zhu Zhuqing, who was a little further away. The next instant, their strength sharply increased several times. Bind! After obtaining the boost, Tang San felt his purple demon eye see even more clearly and brightly, just barely able to catch the opponent's silhouette. Mubai, be careful behind you! Just as he finished speaking. Unfortunately, even though Tang San's warning was very timely, it was still a beat too late. White Tiger Protective Barrier. Practically at the same instant Tang San spoke, the long time of tacit understanding let Dai Mubai use his spirit abilities, his whole body lighting up with a faint light barrier. Pung! The next moment, this light barrier broke. The enormous force directly sent Dai Mubai flying backwards, smashing towards the distant Tang San. Seeing this, Tang San swiftly used tree root blue-silver grass, catching Dai Mubai. Xiao Wu, careful! Just catching Dai Mubai, Tang San fiercely shouted. I felt it go. He's on my right. In midair, Xiao Wu used her body's softness, bending into a U shape, dodging the whistling fierce wind kick. This kick practically brushed past her lower abdomen. But when Xiao Wu still felt lucky, she saw the opponent's calf directly turn in midair and stomp down. Dong! Xiao Wu's lower abdomen was hit, once again kicked flying. Fortunately, because the opponent's kick suddenly turned, the force would be reduced by more than half, adding the blue-silver grass at her waist, for her to block the majority of the impact, and also the last instant the opponent's foot raised to her lower abdomen. Xiao Wu used teleportation, only withstanding a small part of the force, letting her barely support herself on the ground. End of this chapter. Chapter 267. Fatty. Use that move. Tang San was drenched in cold sweat. The opponent's speed was too fast, there was simply no time to warn him. In the face of absolute speed, unless one had absolute defense, it was simply impossible to resist the opponent's attack. But the opponent's strength was also not weak. Could this be the speed of a 60-something ranked agility attack-type battle spirit emperor? How could it be so fast? Impossible. He clearly hadn't even used his martial spirit yet. And his spirit ring. This kind of crushing was unreasonable. Blue-silver grass. Tang San clenched his palm. The countless blue-silver grass that had finally been prepared quickly interweaved in the air into a giant net cage, lying horizontally in front of everyone. The opponent's speed was too fast. He could only create this kind of terrain to weaken the opponent's speed. Moreover, the opponent was wearing a white robe. In the dark night, it was exceptionally eye-catching, and could be considered to have greatly reduced the difficulty of defending. This was also the crucial point that Tang San's purple demon eye was able to detect the opponent's figure. If the opponent's entire body was incomparably black, it would be difficult to fuse with the dark night. The sky was filled with blue-silver grass. If the opponent wanted to attack, he could only cut the blue-silver grass. As long as everything was cut, Tang San could instantly detect the opponent's position and prepare to defend or attack in advance. But using blue-silver grass like this consumed too much spirit power. At this moment, the blue-silver grass giant net in one direction rapidly collapsed. Found you. Tang San looked towards that direction, only to see a white silhouette in the midst of cutting the blue-silver grass net he had formed with extreme speed. Phoenix fire wire. A pillar of fire immediately shot out in that direction. Within the giant net formed by blue-silver grass, his speed was substantially restricted. To first move, he had to first cut the blue-silver grass. Otherwise he would be entangled. The pillar of fire swiftly shot in that direction, blue-silver grass swiftly igniting. White tiger meteor shower. At this moment Dai Mubai also stood up, his whole body erupting with a burst of aura, countless golden specks of light appearing all around, then suddenly exploding in the direction of the flames. This was his fourth spirit ability, a large area of effect spirit ability. Each speck of light could cause a tenth of his own strength to injure the enemy. Right now the opponent had been discovered and trapped with great difficulty. Naturally he had to attack with all his strength. Countless specks of light, like shooting tongues of flame, attacked the location of the flames. Within the explosion of these specks of light, the flames burned fiercely, seemingly without any blind spots. Soaring flames and the sound of explosions completely roused the dark night. Quick, eat some roasted sausages. Oscar threw a few roasted sausages to them. These moves all consumed an extreme amount of spirit power. He should be injured, right? Boss Dai's white tiger meteor shower will produce a violent explosion within the flames. Its might will increase by a level. Xiao Wu gasped a few times, bewildered and uncertain looking ahead. Her reaction could be considered very fast. When Tang San discovered it, the Phoenix fire wire had instantly ignited that area. Adding on the white tiger meteor shower, the explosion had no blind spots. In the distance, Zhu Zhuqing also walked over, solemnly watching. These three people's combined skill was thought up by Tang San, specially used to deal with enemies that were too fast. Against this kind of enemy, single-target attacks practically had no effect, because they could not hit. Purely crushing speed, any single-target spirit ability basically had no effect. Just like when Zhu Zhuqing went up first just now, she could only touch an afterimage, and was sent flying in one face. If not for Xiao Wu's teleportation ability, swiftly reacting at the moment of crisis, perhaps the result would also be the same. Even if she used teleportation, she would still be a beat slower than the opponent. Very clearly, they could only use this kind of special method. First using Tang San's blue-silver grass net to perceive the opponent's general direction, creating a large area of flames, adding on the white tiger meteor shower's bonus, detonating the entire battlefield. But Tang San felt a faint unease in his heart as he watched. Suddenly, a ghastly voice rang out behind them. "What are you looking at?" Hearing this, in practically the next moment, the 8 spider lances appeared on Tang San's back. Countless blue-silver grass madly surged behind him. The others instantly scattered, not even turning their heads back. Incomparably horrifying. Space boundary. At this time, that mysterious person muttered in a low voice. The next moment, he seemed to have entered space-time freezing, his eyes flashing with a sharp light. The 7 people's movements seemed to be slowed down by 10 times. He first grinned, unhurriedly walking, directly receiving the blue-silver grass surging towards Ning Rongrong. Immediately afterwards, he walked in front of Oscar, taking down the 2 mushroom sausages he was about to eat, and stuck them into his nose. Then he pressed down Ma Hongjun, who was flying in midair, just touching one of Tang San's 8 spider lances. Dai Mubai, Xiao Wu, and Zhu Zhuqing. He bound the surging blue-silver grass to their feet in one go. All of this happened in a fraction of a second. In the space boundary state, his body's perception increased by 10 times, equivalent to the opponent's speed becoming 10 times slower. But this had extremely high demands on his body's quality. Otherwise he basically couldn't enter. This was his greatest achievement in this half-year of fighting Air Ming in the Star Do Great Forest. The growth of the space boundary. Withdrawing from the space boundary, the surroundings swiftly returned to normal. A strange scene appeared. Ning Rongrong was directly bound into a large rice dumpling by the blue-silver grass. Oscar's face was red, withdrawing the mushroom sausage from his nose, repeatedly gasping for breath. Ma Hongjun issued a miserable shriek, because his arm was once again cut open by Tang San's 8 spider lances. Xiao Wu, Dai Mubai, and Zhu Zhuqing tripped over the blue-silver grass under their feet. The 7 people instantly became a pot of porridge. Only Tang San managed to stand where he was, blankly looking all around, and the 4 people watching the fight to the side suddenly stared wide-eyed. This is... Lu Erlong, whose heart was originally burning with anger, also looked on with a shocked expression. Even the anger she had just now disappeared. With her line of sight, just now she had practically only seen that white silhouette, as if turning into a ray of light, shuttling back and forth between the 7 people. And then it became like this. Too fast. Flender said in a low voice. Completing these movements practically in an instant can make them attack each other. Don't tell me this is also a kind of special spirit ability? I remember Douluo has a similar time freeze spirit ability that can achieve a similar effect. But that's his 8th spirit ability. No, just now wasn't time freeze. His speed was too fast. Lu Erlong shook her head. If it was an area of effect spirit ability like time freeze, we would also feel it. But just now we didn't feel it. This is more like a kind of special battle state. Lu Erlong, known as Slaughter Corner, was the one who had experienced the most battles among the 3. Vaguely able to understand this kind of special situation, but not completely clear. If they were like this, let alone Tang San's group. When they returned to their senses, 3rd brother, how did your blue-silver grass trap me? Tang San, how did your 8 spider lances injure me? I'm dying of pain. Who stuffed my mushroom sausage up my nose? Go, why did you use blue-silver grass to trap my and Zhuqing's feet? End of this chapter. Chapter 268. Tang San looked at the several people lying on the ground, incomparably stunned. Returning to his senses, the corner of his mouth also twitched. What happened just now? As if thinking of something, Tang San drew a cold breath, looking at the distant white silhouette standing gracefully on the blue-silver grass. Not bad. Their coordination is very tacit but still very weak. Even though they didn't touch the corner of my clothes, I'll still give you 2 spirit beasts. Next time it won't be so simple. Ah. That white silhouette suddenly disappeared in the air, coming and going without a trace. After a good while, the several people just managed to crawl up, Tang San also quickly sucked out the 8 spider lances poison for Ma Hongjun. The party looked at each other in dismay. What happened just now? Ma Hongjun murmured. How could I fall on Tang San's 8 spider lances in the blink of an eye? That's right, you even used blue silver grass to bind me? Ning Rongrong was also very angry. Xiao Wu, Zhu Zhuqing and Dai Mubai also walked over, their complexions somewhat unsightly. Tang San said in a low voice. Just now in a split second, that 6-ring spirit emperor changed our positions. He suddenly appeared behind us. I'm afraid he used some kind of special spirit ability, able to make his speed similar to true lightning, changing everyone's state in an instant, resulting in this kind of effect. Hearing this, everyone was stunned for a while. When the difference in speed and perception between us reaches a huge value, I will be able to defeat you. To him, we are motionless. Zhu Zhuqing seemed to be able to understand, and said in a low voice, When I attacked him just now, I had this kind of feeling. That's right, that's what I mean. Tang San shook his head and said, The difference in strength is too obvious. A 60-something level agility attack-type battle spirit emperor, how can it be so exaggerated? Unless it's some kind of special variant spirit. Just now when Fatty's phoenix fire wire fell on the blue-silver grass net I weaved, I'm afraid he had already disappeared and appeared in the darkness behind us? Hearing this, everyone's hearts went cold. At this time, Flender and the others also followed over. Teacher, this friend of yours? In the end, what kind of spirit is it? Tang San couldn't help but ask. I've never seen this kind. You said 6-ring spirit emperor. I also didn't see him use his spirit, not even a spirit ring. Grandmaster was silent and didn't answer. Alright, you guys. Oscar, Fatty, the 2 of you hurry up and kill those 2 soul beasts and absorb their soul rings. While the sky still isn't dark. Flender indifferently said, What's the point of asking so much? We also don't know, you ask us what? Zhao Wuji to the side secretly said. That kid Lin Feng, it seems he's become even stronger. The 7 people were silent for a while, not saying much. This battle could be said to have ended very quickly. Moreover, it was still finished in a crushing manner. The 7 people believed that even if it was Dean Flender or any one of Lu Erlong, they still wouldn't be able to accomplish this step. Of course, this was also because they didn't know anything about the other side. But even more was because of the enormous gap in strength. Seeing the 3 teachers not say anything, Oscar and Ma Hongjun could only go absorb the spirit rings. These 2 kinds of spirit beasts were both the most suitable for the 2 of them. This 6-ring spirit emperor really is very strong. Ning Rongrong hammered her shoulder. Just now with the help of blue silver grass, there was poison on top, and Ning Rongrong right now felt her body was still somewhat soft. Zhu Zhuqing and Xiao Wu also entered the tent, intending to rest. Although this battle was short, it was too tiring. I didn't expect Grandmaster to still have such a formidable friend. Xiao Wu rubbed her feet. Just now she was tangled by blue-silver grass. The 3 people had maintained an extremely fast charging momentum, suddenly being tied up by blue-silver grass, their feet pulled red. Zhu Zhuqing also rubbed her feet. Under the tremendous pulling force, even a spirit master's body would still produce pain. Only those 2 spirit beasts seemed somewhat different. While rubbing her feet, Zhu Zhuqing recalled the special wounds she had just discovered in front of the 2 spirit beasts, sinking into contemplation. If only Wang Feng was here. Ning Rongrong said with a face full of expectation, if he was here, we shouldn't have lost so miserably, right? Once we return to the academy we can see Wang Feng. This was currently the matter she was most looking forward to, even more than obtaining a spirit ring. Brother Feng, I also feel it's not very possible. This 6-ring spirit emperor, I feel very strange. Xiao Wu shook her head. His various designs clearly all have a very good understanding of us. I reckon Grandmaster told him all our information, but until now none of us have run into him. At this time, Zhu Zhuqing opened her mouth, saying, half a year of secluded cultivation, he should also be even stronger. Xiao Wu looked distracted, nodding, seems so. Let's rest first, right now we're just missing Zhuqing, Rongrong, and brother's spirit ring. The three talked in the tent. Outside in the campfire, Zhao Wuji's party also talked. The night gradually passed. 7 people, they've become a lot stronger. In the night sky, a white silhouette lifted his mask, gazing at the full moon in the sky. Still able to make me use the evolved empty realm, Wang Feng revealed a trace of a smile. In the Star Do Great Forest, after half a year of secluded cultivation, his spirit power had just barely reached the 45th rank. Therefore, Wang Feng focused most of his energy on the battle with the Titan ape. It had to be said that Ming's battle strength was extremely terrifying. Wang Feng was completely no match for Ming. According to Wang Feng's estimates, if they were to fight for real, he might not even be able to defeat Ming at rank 70. This was especially true now that Wang Feng had received that stick from Ming. Wang Feng felt that even rank 70 and above were unfathomable. However, during this half a year of abuse, Wang Feng's greatest improvement was in his battle with the empty realm. This was because he fought under Ming's gravity domain every day, which was extremely helpful to understanding the empty realm. Originally, the empty realm greatly increased the body's senses, allowing it to react in all sorts of minute ways and dodge the enemy's attacks. But under Ming's training, Wang Feng's empty realm became more and more proficient, and it also rapidly grew. Even now, after entering the empty realm, Wang Feng could even temporarily resist Ming's gravity domain. The empty realm involved Wang Feng's understanding of every single muscle and bone in his body, as well as his spiritual power and senses. After entering the empty realm, Wang Feng's senses were enhanced by more than 10 times. His spiritual power was circulating in a frenzy, and his brain was in a state of extreme stress, similar to a CPU that was overclocking. In this state, he could control every single muscle in his body in minute detail, and his speed was greatly enhanced. This could be said to be an improvement in his understanding from Ming's beating. After all, Wang Feng had been beaten by a 100,000-year soul beast that was comparable to a titled Douluo's domain for half a year, so there was no way that he hadn't improved at all. The current empty realm had already become one of Wang Feng's greatest trump cards. However, entering this state would have an extremely severe impact on his body. It was just like how overclocking a CPU would damage a computer's motherboard and CPU itself. If your motherboard's hardware wasn't up to par, it wouldn't be able to support this overclocking state. Using it for a long period of time was naturally even more difficult. Apart from that, without the Black Hoop Spiritual Skull's spiritual power amplification and perception soul skills, it would be very difficult to enter this state. End of this chapter. Chapter 269. With Wang Feng's current physical quality, he had to open the second gear, hide the Xianming armor, and add the Black Hoop Spiritual Skull, and he could only enter the Void Realm for a short minute. He still couldn't enter the first gear. But in this minute, Wang Feng was almost invincible. Unless it was a super strong agility attack-type spirit Douluo, it was impossible to detect his speed and perception. Although Tang San's group of 7 was very strong, their decision-making was good, and their use of spirit skills was also very good. But in this kind of crushing state there was no chance of victory. It was also impossible to touch the corner of Wang Feng's clothes. If it was Wang Feng's first gear strength, he could still touch it. But after entering the second gear and opening the new form of the Void Realm, even if all 7 of them obtained the 4th spirit ring, it would be very difficult to achieve. Consider it the first time I'll use this evolved Void Realm in actual combat with you guys. Wang Feng said with a smile. Tomorrow, I'll let you guys see the effect of the God-slaying spear. Feel the berserk spirit beast? The next day, Oscar and Ma Hongjun, had already completely absorbed the spirit rings of the two spirit beasts. Both of their fourth spirit skills were very strong. Ma Hongjun absorbed the King of the Earth spirit ring, and obtained the spirit skill Phoenix Cry Sky Strike, which had 2 stages. Within a range of 5 meters, the first stage could make the opponent dizzy, and the second stage could produce magma to attack the opponent and cause a lot of damage. But it required Tang San's cooperation, because this was a kind of move that needed to accumulate power. If he left the range in the first stage, then the result would be nothing. And Oscar's pink sausage could improve his overall state by 10%. They were both very strong spirit skills. Although their spirit skills were very good, the 7 of them weren't too excited about last night's miserable defeat, but instead were extremely calm and collected. Grandmaster, who saw this situation, revealed a trace of a smile in his heart. This was exactly the effect he wanted to see. The 7 children in front of him were all very talented. They also had a tacit understanding, but they needed someone to supervise and spur them on, so that they wouldn't get carried away and become arrogant and willful. This person had to be young, to make them feel a sense of defeat. Naturally, it could only be Wang Feng. He already has the state of a king's teacher. Grandmaster thought in his heart, this year's Continental Advanced Spirit Master Tournament won't be simple. If they want to go further, they need this kind of tempering. The group of people shuttled through the forest. Although the Sunset Great Forest wasn't large, it still required several days to walk out. But the quality of spirit beasts really couldn't compare to the Star Do Great Forest. For more than half a day, the group of people had gained nothing. Fortunately, the 6-ringed spirit emperor that Tang San's group of 7 were worried about also didn't attack them. It seemed that because of last night's battle, it gave them a chance to breathe. They didn't have any harvest for a day. The remaining 3, because they all wanted to find the most suitable spirit beast, and with Grandmaster here, naturally had stricter requirements. Close to night. This day, without that 6-ringed spirit emperor's attack, although Tang San's group of 7 were still vigilant, they also let out a breath in their hearts. Teacher, continuing to search like this isn't a solution. Tang San looked at Grandmaster. Flender said, I have a way to quickly attract spirit beasts. But it's rather dangerous. The 4 looked at Tang San. Continuing to search like this would waste too much energy. If there was a good method, that would naturally be the best. What method? Grandmaster asked. Tang San took out the aromatic silk beauty immortal treasure from his 100 treasures pouch and said with a smile, this item is an immortal treasure. If I nourish it with medicine, it can emit a special fragrance. Because this medicinal herb is a treasure, the fragrance it emits will attract spirit beasts. The 4's eyes brightened. This method isn't bad. It's just a bit dangerous. What if it attracts too many spirit beasts? Flender pondered, unless there's a place that can block these spirit beasts. Is the place where you and Dugu Bo cultivated in seclusion still there? Grandmaster's heart moved and asked. It is. There's a poison formation there. Even spirit beasts around 10,000 years old won't dare to casually enter. Let's go there for the time being, Tang San said thoughtfully. He thought that even a 6-ringed spirit emperor wouldn't dare to come to that place. This way they could temporarily avoid conflict with the other party. After everyone obtained their 4th spirit skill, they should have a chance to pose a threat to him. Only then would they have a chance to pass the test. After they finished discussing, they hurried to the Ice and Fire Yin-Yang well. After not coming here for half a year, Tang San discovered that this place was still very beautiful when he came again. After finishing everything, the fragrance of the aromatic silk beauty immortal treasure slowly spread out. Everyone also waited quietly. Not long after, a low roar came from the front, bringing with it a gust of wind. Seeing this, Flender and Lu Erlong immediately became vigilant. It's a tiger-type spirit beast, Grandmaster said in a low voice. Tang San, this time you kill it yourselves. Be careful. As soon as Grandmaster's voice fell, Tang San and the others saw a multicolored tiger scuttle out of the mountain forest. It was a completely black tiger. Apart from a white pattern on its forehead, its body was more than 4.5 meters long, and its shoulder height was close to 2 meters. What was even more strange was that its eyes were blood red. "Be careful, it's a 5,000-year ghost tiger," Tang San said in a low voice. "The ghost tiger is a spirit beast with extremely powerful attack and speed. It's incomparably fierce." As he spoke, Tang San and the others began to fight with this ghost tiger. The ghost tiger had a special ability, Shadow Doppelganger. Usually there were 3. But this one was older. It could transform into 4 different doppelgangers to attack, and it was difficult to distinguish. Dai Mubai's White Tiger Light Wave and Tang San's Spider Web Restraint each broke a doppelganger. Ma Hongjuan's Phoenix Fire Wire also broke one. But this ghost tiger seemed to be incomparably berserk. In a flash, it again split into 4, rushing towards that medicinal herb. For a moment, everyone was caught off guard. Fortunately, Tang San had purple demon eye, and could clearly see the doppelganger. It was the second one from the left. After distinguishing, Tang San directly used spider web restraint, slightly controlling this ghost tiger's momentum. Right now, in the circumstances of the night, Zhu Zhuqing's speed was the most terrifying. Even if this ghost tiger directly rushed over, it was still impossible to injure her. In addition, Tang San's spider web restraint slowed down the momentum. After Zhu Zhuqing dodged, she directly used her third spirit ability, Hell Chop, attacking the ghost tiger. Purple golden claw images merged into one, as if becoming a purple golden sharp blade, cutting at the ghost tiger's flank, pulling out a wound where the bone was visible. However, such a powerful attack, that ghost tiger that had broken free from the spider web restraint seemed to not sense it at all. With a roar, without any momentum, it rushed in Ning Rongrong and Oscar's direction. Seeing this, everyone was gobsmacked. Zhu Zhuqing's attack was so powerful, and this ghost tiger was also seriously injured. How could it not sense it at all? This ghost tiger is somewhat strange. There seems to be a wound on its back. It's already gone mad. Under the observation of Purple Demon Eye, Tang San immediately said in a low voice, "Rongrong, little Ao, eat the mushroom sausage, avoid this ghost tiger." End of this chapter. Chapter 270. Originally, under Zhu Zhuqing's spirit ability, this ghost tiger's momentum should have dropped greatly, and then Dai Mubai and Ma Hongjuan's second attack would have formed. Adding Xiao Wu's final killing blow, it should have been able to make this ghost tiger lose its fighting strength. But clearly, this scene was completely out of their expectations. Ning Rongrong and Oscar were also startled, immediately flying into the air. They didn't understand why this ghost tiger would be so berserk. What's going on? Zhao Wuji and the others were also gobsmacked. He could see clearly. That ghost tiger should have been injured before it came. Lu Erlong pointed at the wound on the ghost tiger's back. That wound made this ghost tiger lose its nature, in an extremely berserk state. Even though Zhuqing's attack caused it enormous injuries, in this state, the ghost tiger completely disregarded it. They will fall into a bitter struggle. I wonder how they should deal with such a special situation. Lu Erlong saw it clearly. Flender also saw it very clearly. Grandmaster's strength was low, and he couldn't see too clearly, but after listening to the two, he silently said, "It seems it's possible that he did it." The three stared blankly. "You mean, it's Xiao Feng?" Flender suddenly understood. "Only, how did he make this ghost tiger so berserk?" I said, "He didn't attack all day, it doesn't match his character. Let's watch first, if they're in danger then we'll act." Tang San's group of 7 was startled by this ghost tiger's state. But very quickly, after countless battles, they swiftly reacted. Continue to exhaust and restrain it. Even if it's in a berserk state, there will always be a time when it can't bear it. Tang San calmly ordered, Zhu Qing, this ghost tiger is very suitable for you. But in this state, it might be very difficult to make it lose its fighting strength. You must look for the right opportunity. We'll create the conditions for you to kill it in one blow. The 7 originally wanted to make this ghost tiger lose its fighting strength, but now they could only change tactic. No need. I have a way. At this time, Zhu Qing walked out, speaking in a low voice. Rong Rong, give me full strength, I'll kill it myself. Hearing this, everyone stared blankly. Ning Rong Rong nodded, several rays of light directly falling on Zhu Qing. Zhu Qing drew a deep breath, concentrating on the distant ghost tiger, her purple gold claws flickering with cold light. She directly charged over. Extremely fast. But this 5,000-year ghost tiger wasn't to be trifled with. It also charged towards Zhu Qing. The next instant, the moment the two figures touched, Zhu Qing suddenly leapt onto the ghost tiger's back. Hell 100 claws. Purple gold cold light, continuously flashing dozens of times, instantly streaked across the ghost tiger's back. This was just Zhu Qing's second spirit ability. But this time, this ghost tiger let out an extremely pained roar. Immediately afterwards, it fell to the ground. Everyone was immediately stunned. Even Tang San didn't understand. Until Zhu Qing came down from the ghost tiger's back. Zhu Qing, how did you do it? Xiao Wu said in surprise. This ghost tiger's vitality should be very strong, and in a berserk state, completely unable to feel pain, it shouldn't be possible for it to be hit by a spirit ability, right? Everyone also crowded over. Only Tang San looked at the position where Zhu Qing had just used her spirit ability, suddenly said, so it was like this. Zhu Qing, just now you used Hell 100 Claws to attack this wound, right? Tang San pointed at the wound on the ghost tiger's back. This wound was a very small scratch, seemed to be because of this scratch, this ghost tiger was so berserk. Even now, when several people approached, they could feel that this wound contained an extremely terrifying fiendish blood qi. Yes. Zhu Qing nodded. Just now when I attacked at close range, I also saw this wound. I reckon it was because of this wound that it went berserk. If I used Hell 100 Claws to carry out a penetrating attack, staring at this wound, I can expand its injury. The pain this wound brings him is clearly more effective than any of our attacks. I think, as long as this injury is expanded, that ghost tiger should die in a flash. After listening, everyone was silent. They did not expect that in the moment of close combat just now, Zhu Qing could actually quickly think of so many things. I don't know who caused this wound, Oscar said with a frown. I always feel it is not so simple. Tang San shook his head, also not too clear who caused this kind of wound. There were too many possibilities. But this ghost tiger was extremely berserk when it was alive. Killing this ghost tiger in this state, Zhu Qing, you will not have any difficulty absorbing it. Tang San said with a smile, this can be considered the best result. Because this ghost tiger was injured by this wound, it is in extreme pain, but because it went berserk, it did not feel the injury, on the contrary it wished to die. This wound emits an extremely fiendish aura, making this ghost tiger's soul perhaps somewhat fearful. Being able to kill it is also a kind of release. Hearing this, everyone slightly understood. Zhu Qing opened her mouth, wanting to say something, but did not speak. Actually, she wanted to say this wound was on the wounds of the 2 spirit beasts that died yesterday. However, because those 2 spirit beasts were directly killed by Oscar and Ma Hongjun, and their soul rings were absorbed, you all did not discover it. And because she was sent flying by the mysterious 6-ringed Soul Emperor at the beginning, she just happened to land near the 2 spirit beasts, and coincidentally saw this similar small wound. And because she was sent flying by the mysterious 6-ringed Soul Emperor at the beginning, she just happened to land near the 2 spirit beasts, and coincidentally saw this similar small wound. In other words, this ghost tiger's wound was also caused by the 6-ringed Soul Emperor. That six-ringed Soul Emperor has been helping us, and also secretly reminding us. Zhu Zhuqing thought in her heart. Thinking of this, Zhu Zhuqing was about to speak. At this time, suddenly, a burst of earth-shaking sound came from afar. You all go back inside first, I'm afraid there are a lot of spirit beasts. Flender and Lu Erlong walked over. There are at least 30 spirit beasts. Grandmaster listened to the sound and said in a deep voice, and I'm afraid there are more than 10,000-year spirit beasts among them. With Flender and Lu Erlong's observation, they had already noticed it. So exaggerated? Dai Mubai took a deep breath and said, This immortal medicine is quite powerful. There's one more thing that's not good. Flender glanced at them and said, These spirit beasts all have wounds on their bodies. I observed them just now, each of them has the same wound as the ghost tiger. Among them, there's a 30,000-year spirit beast with this kind of special wound. This means that they're all in a berserk state. When everyone heard this, they instantly fell silent. Although there were many benefits to killing these spirit beasts with special wounds, and it was very easy to absorb them, but it was so easy to kill them. Especially those 10,000-year and above spirit beasts, when they go berserk, you won't have a chance at all. All of them have wounds? Ma Hongjun wiped the cold sweat off his forehead. Who caused this? So terrifying? Even a 30,000-year spirit beast can be injured. At this moment, Zhu Zhuqing said in a low voice, It's him, it's that six-ring Soul Emperor. When Tang San and the others heard this, they immediately looked at her with incomparable astonishment. 10 o'clock, cough cough, please count the vote. End of this chapter. Chapter 271. Zhu Zhuqing's words made Tang San and the others somewhat stunned. These 30-something spirit beasts, because of the aromatic silk beauty immortal treasure gathering, came from all directions, but to injure each spirit beast and then retreat unscathed, this might be very difficult to accomplish, right? Even more, there were still 30,000-year spirit beasts among them. If it really was like this, just who was that six-ring spirit emperor? Zhuqing's words make sense. Tang San pondered. That six-ring spirit emperor's speed is too fast. Even 30,000-year spirit beasts among these spirit beasts might not be able to match his speed. For this kind of special agility, attack-type spirit master, as long as his speed can't be restricted, then it's possible to injure these spirit beasts. Hearing Tang San say this, the others also felt it was somewhat reasonable. Zhuqing, how did you think of this? Xiao Wu asked. Zhu Zhuqing then recounted the matter of seeing the wounds on the giant Earth King and the Pink Queen because of the previous battle. Finished speaking, Tang San and the others were slightly silent. Very good. As an agility attack-type battle spirit master, Zhuqing, it seems your investigation and analysis have already made very great progress. Grandmaster looked at Zhuqing with an expression of admiration, being able to discover the clues left behind by the other side, and then analyze them, finally making a decision. This is the reason why you could use your second spirit ability to instantly kill that ghost tiger just now, right? If Zhu Zhuqing hadn't discovered that wound last night, she wouldn't have thought so much. And as an agility attack-type battle spirit master, besides fighting on the battlefield, she was even more responsible for investigation and analysis, and then passing it on to the commander. The more information she could obtain, the more advantageous it would be for the team. Let's not talk about that six-ring spirit emperor for now. Flender swept his eyes over everyone. Right now there are so many spirit beasts outside, first think about what to do? With so many spirit beasts gathered, even if we directly go out, it will still be extremely dangerous. Adding to the fact that they are still abnormally berserk right now, their attacks will be even more terrifying. More than 30 spirit beasts, ranging from several thousand years old to several tens of thousands of years old. This wasn't something a small team could defeat by cooperating. These berserk spirit beasts, if killed, are extremely suitable for us to absorb. Tang San said with a smile. This six-ring Spirit Emperor Senior didn't personally attack us this time, but clearly this is a test for us. As long as we pass, then we will naturally obtain a lot of benefit. Right now the only problem is naturally how to obtain the spirit beasts we need from these more than 30 spirit beasts. Tang San's detailed explanation let the others immediately understand the current situation. At this moment, Tang San took off the flying god claw in his hand, saying with a smile, "This might depend on the teachers. I think you all know this thing, it's called Flying God Claw. It can grasp all kinds of terrain tens of meters away, dodging or climbing." Speaking, Tang San suddenly aimed the Flying God Claw at a distant giant rock. But similarly, it can also be used to grab things, just that it requires formidable spirit power to support it. A sharp conical hidden weapon suddenly shot out from the front of the God Claw, the tough steel wire connecting the two parts. The sharp awl pierced into the distant rock hand, instantly forming a giant steel claw, firmly locking this rock in place. Immediately afterward, Tang San circulated spirit power, pulling back his palm, clawing this rock back. Seeing this, the eyes of Flender and the other teachers brightened. Using this thing to catch spirit beasts, one might not be enough, but 3 or even 4 is enough to grab the spirit beasts outside one by one. Tang San handed the flying god claw to Flender, and said to Dai Mubai and the others, "Mubai, little Ao, you also temporarily take off the flying god claw for teacher to use." He had given everyone a set of all kinds of hidden weapons. Dai Mubai and Oscar immediately took off the flying god claw and gave it to Flender and Lu Erlong. Tang San gave it to Zhao Wuji. This mechanism wasn't complicated, the 3 teachers were all old spirit masters. Naturally they learned it very quickly. "Then let's first choose a spirit beast for Rongrong." Tang San looked at Ning Rongrong. "Wang Feng said before that my 4th spirit ability would be best chosen for defense, best still able to protect myself." Ning Rongrong giggled. "Moreover, I feel my body has become a lot stronger, I should be able to absorb even older spirit beasts. Even Oscar can't beat me." Oscar. His golden sausage's amplification and deliciousness had both risen, but it couldn't increase his own amplification. Unlike Ning Rongrong's 9-treasure star tile pagoda, the star power it possessed could still increase the quality of his body. Xiao Feng is right, your amplification is attack, agility, and spirit power. Next is naturally defense. Grandmaster nodded, pondering for a moment. There's a unicorn armored beast outside. Its defensive strength is the strongest among these spirit beasts. Even those 10,000-year ones might not be able to compare to this unicorn armored beast. Moreover, it seems it's still somewhat mutated. Mutated? Tang San was astonished. That's right. Grandmaster pointed outside. This ordinary unicorn armored beast's appearance is black scales, they look like crocodiles. But this unicorn armored beast is clearly a bit special. Not only is its age just right, even the scales on its back are light purple. It should be a variant scale. According to my conjecture, besides this kind of purple scale armor's even more outstanding defensive strength, it might still have some special ability. This kind of unicorn armored beast is extremely rare. Everyone looked at that unicorn armored beast. The scales on its back really were light purple, and still carried a black halo. We'll know after we catch it and absorb it. A flame flashed in Lu Erlong's eyes. Without another word, she leapt high, flying god claw shooting out. Flender and Zhao Wuji hastily followed. This Lu Erlong's temper was too explosive. Even though that purple unicorn armored beast was a bit larger, in front of 3 formidable spirit masters, it still wasn't enough. It was like being hoisted up by a crane. The unicorn armored beast's enormous body was directly pulled in, falling to the ground with a thump. Having absorbed the poison formation's poison mist, bound by Flender's flying god claw, this unicorn armored beast fell to the ground like a turtle, its abdomen facing the air, but even its abdomen was covered in layers of scale armor. Grandmaster swiftly spoke of this unicorn-armored beast's shortcomings, then let Lu ere long bring Ning Rongrong to absorb and slaughter this spirit beast. Little San, for your fourth spirit ring, choose this man-faced demon spider. Grandmaster pointed at the distant man-faced demon spider. I think you also know the characteristics of the man-faced demon spider. This 6,000-year spirit beast is the most suitable. Tang San was silent a moment. Even though this six-ring spirit emperor friend of mine is giving you a test, from the wounds of these spirit beasts, it's very clear that he deliberately drove them over. Grandmaster said. It really was like this. Whether it was that ghost tiger that had just reached the limit of its age, or the purple unicorn-armored beast just now. None of them seemed like they could be encountered casually. Even with the aromatic silk beauty immortal treasure, it still might not be able to attract spirit beasts so perfectly suited to them. Tang San nodded. He naturally understood this point. Therefore, this man-faced demon spider's 6,000 years was clearly chosen by him, and given to you. In last night's battle, he had an extremely clear understanding of your strength and spirit. Grandmaster continued, even though these spirit beasts are numerous, among them are spirit beasts you need. 6,000 years, this was the spirit beast with the highest age in the party. It surpassed the limit of 40th ranked spirit masters. At this moment, Tang San suddenly looked to the other side. Suddenly smiling he said, But teacher, there's still a 10,000-year pit demon spider there. I think it should be even more suitable. I think this is also that six-ring spirit emperor's idea? Chapter 272. Hearing this, Grandmaster stared blankly. 10,000-year pit demon spider? Grandmaster naturally also saw it, only hearing Tang San's words. His expression couldn't help sinking a moment. Wanting to say something, Flender walked over and beat him to it. No, 10,000-year spirit beasts are too dangerous. Lin Feng's situation is an exception. What would you do if something happened to you? Grandmaster also lowered his voice. Little San, 10,000-year spirit beasts are still too dangerous for you. If you didn't have a suitable reason, I wouldn't agree to you doing so much. Reason? Tang San smiled slightly. There are two reasons. One is because of the Advanced Spirit Master Grand Competition. The continent's Spirit Master elites, if the seven of us aren't stronger than anyone else, without 10,000-year spirit rings, wanting to surpass the continent's elite spirit masters. Grandmaster, do you think it's possible? Grandmaster stared blankly. Yes, even if the seven of them were geniuses, how could the continent not have other geniuses? How could they surpass others? Immediately afterward, Tang San continued. The other reason is that six-ring Spirit Emperor Senior. First of all, he drove these spirit beasts here, apart from that 30,000-year spirit beast. This means that he also thinks we can absorb these spirit beasts. 6,000-year man-faced demon spider, and 10,000-year pit demon spider, they were both choices this senior gave me. Therefore, in his view, I also have the ability to absorb this pit demon spider. This was reverse reasoning, reverse thinking. Grandmaster and Flender stared blankly again. They knew who this six-ringed Soul Emperor Senior was. In other words, Lin Feng also thought Tang San could absorb this pit demon spider's spirit ring? Wang Feng would naturally think so. After all, in the original work Tang San absorbed the pit demon spider, and it was impossible for any problems to occur. This pit demon spider was still more than 11,000 years old, and not new. The older it was, the stronger it would be after absorbing it. Grandmaster and Flender were silent. Further adding the two immortal herbs I absorbed, my body has long since been cleansed of marrow and bones, and is several times more powerful than spirit masters of the same level. Therefore, I have 100% certainty I can absorb this pit demon spider. Tang San said confidently. At this moment, Xiao Wu walked over from the side, saying in a low voice, "Gu, really 100%? After a 10,000-year spirit beast dies, when its spirit ring is absorbed, it will produce a soul shock. Because 10,000-year spirit beasts all possess extremely high intelligence, their soul consciousness is in the spirit ring. If it's absorbed, this kind of soul shock will produce an extremely terrifying attack on the spirit master's mind and soul. At best it will turn you into an idiot, at worst it will directly kill you. This wasn't just for 10,000-year spirit beasts. Spirit beasts with relatively high intelligence would all have this kind of situation. The first 6,000-year golden light thunder leopard Wang Feng encountered had this kind of situation. At that time Wang Feng was still a 6-year-old child. Therefore, generally low-level spirit masters wouldn't absorb a 10,000-year spirit ring. Besides not having enough strength, the mind and soul would also be unable to support it, and would need to wait until they were a bit older. Soul shock? Grandmaster stared blankly. He didn't understand this. Yes, my mother told me. Xiao Wu's voice was somewhat gloomy. Xiao Wu, do you know why I said I have 100% certainty? Tang San smiled and said, because I'm not a 14-year-old child. Adding up my 2 lives, I'm already over 40 years old. My mind and soul might be able to withstand this 10,000-year spirit beast's attack. Of course, Tang San wouldn't say this out loud. Why? Xiao Wu asked. It's very simple, Tang San explained. First of all, my purple demon eyes can produce an attack on the spirit beast's mind, which can reduce the soul shock effect you mentioned. There's also another more important reason, which is also the safest reason. Have you all forgotten the wounds on these spirit beasts? Tang San continued, these wounds aren't simple. Previously, I felt that these wounds carried an extremely terrifying fiendish qi, causing these 10,000-year spirit beasts to become abnormally violent. Because their souls were originally shaken by this fiendish qi, after we killed them, their souls became very weak after becoming berserk. This is the reason why they were easily absorbed by us. Of course, the enormous spirit power of a 10,000-year spirit beast is indeed not something an ordinary person can withstand. What Tang San said was very reasonable. After Grandmaster finished listening, he slightly nodded. Flender also didn't say anything more. Brother, then you go. Xiao Wu lightly laughed. If something happens to you, I will also accompany you. Don't think of leaving me alone. Tang San rubbed Xiao Wu's head, smiled and said, don't worry, nothing will happen to me. After the discussion, Flender and Zhao Wuji, the 2 people, directly went to catch that pit demon spider outside. The capture process was somewhat dangerous, because Lu Erlong was still venting on that unicorn-armored beast. Bursts of sounds came from the ground, making everyone even more afraid of Lu Erlong. And that pit demon spider could only rely on Flender and Zhao Wuji. But the capture process was still exceptionally dangerous. Because this pit demon spider was in a berserk state, seeing that flying god claw attack, it didn't even dodge, directly using its sharp spider legs to slap it flying, afterwards swallowing and spitting spider silk, twisting this flying god claw and making it completely useless. In such a state, it didn't seem to know fatigue. Even knowing that 2 spirit sages basically weren't something it could resist, it still didn't flee. Instead, it laid down its special ability, Spiderweb Prison, all around its original position. As soon as the enemy entered attack range, the spiderweb on the ground would activate, instantly trapping the enemy. When it activated, there were no signs or energy fluctuations, and it was extremely difficult to deal with. But as spirit sages, Flender and Zhao Wuji naturally wouldn't be trapped by a spirit beast's ability. To this kind of berserk state, to this kind of spirit beast, it actually substantially reduces its fighting strength. Tang San thought to himself as he watched the battle, the pit demon spider's strength lies in control, restriction, and concealment. But in berserk state, its consciousness is out of control, and it basically won't choose to conceal itself. That wound, just how was it caused? Such terrifying fiendish blood energy is practically unheard of. Not only did Tang San find this hard to understand. Even Flender and Zhao Wuji found it hard to understand. Because with their experience, they had also never encountered this kind of peculiar situation. Tang San took advantage of the opportunity, and also used flying god claws to scuttle out, a spiderweb restraint binding this pit demon spider. 3 flying god claws embedded in the pit demon spider's shell flesh, bringing it back. But at this moment, Xiao Wu's group in the poison formation on the other side suffered an additional attack. Xiao Wu. Under Tang San's purple demon eye, he shockingly saw clearly. It was that man-faced demon spider. Right now, Lu Erlong had already returned, and Ning Rongrong should still be absorbing the spirit ring. Seeing this scene, he couldn't help his heart jump, and immediately charged over. Even though Grandmaster blocked in front of Xiao Wu, his strength was limited, and he was basically unable to resist this man-faced demon spider's charge. On the contrary, Xiao Wu directly used her vigorous posture to dodge this 6,000-year man-faced demon spider's attack. However, this man-faced demon spider was in a berserk state, and even if Xiao Wu's strength wasn't weak, continuously using teleportation to dodge the man-faced demon spider's attack, she was ultimately still stabbed in the shoulder blade. At this moment Lu Erlong also just arrived, and seeing Xiao Wu stabbed, she directly opened Scarlet Dragon Avatar, charging over and violently beating that man-faced demon spider. In just a few breaths, the man-faced demon spider's whole body was burning with dragon flame, falling on the ground, twitching incessantly. Tang San seemed to have gone mad, directly using 8 spider lances, ignoring everyone's shouts, charging in front of the man-faced demon spider, 8 spider lances directly piercing this man-faced demon spider's body, making it issue incomparably painful cries. Lu Erlong walked directly to Xiao Wu's side. Chapter 273. Child, are you alright? Having just vented, Lu Erlong's tone right now was clearly exceptionally gentle. The others also watched closely. Wang Feng was also watching from the shadows. He wasn't very worried, because he saw very clearly that when that man-faced demon spider stabbed into Xiao Wu's shoulder bone just now, it was blocked by something. Wang Feng could clearly see all the battles that were happening right now. Using the Black Hoop Spirit Skull's Mist Shadow Spirit ability, he could hide in the surroundings at all times, making it difficult for everyone to detect him. Tang San's purple demon eye was also difficult to detect. This skull was at least 100,000 years old, and even a 60,000-year spirit beast couldn't detect it. Even if Tang San's purple demon eye was even more formidable, it was still impossible to detect Wang Feng at his level. It should be the yearning heartbroken red? Wang Feng recalled something, and couldn't help thinking to himself. Even though the berserk man-faced demon spider was very difficult to deal with, the current Xiao Wu wasn't the original Xiao Wu. To be precise, she was a lot stronger. Even though in the end it still couldn't escape injury, wanting to kill Xiao Wu, even if this man-faced demon spider had 6,000 years of cultivation, it would still be difficult. Not long after, Wang Feng saw Flender pat Xiao Wu's back a few times. Xiao Wu spit out a mouthful of purple blood, and then her complexion improved a lot. I remember, Xiao Wu seemed to recognize Lu Erlong as her adoptive mother here? Wang Feng thought to himself. He planned to wait for the party to all finish absorbing spirit rings, and then fight them, see if the 7 of them could lift his mask? If they didn't use the evolved void boundary, the 7 of them still had a chance, but it wouldn't be easy. They needed to think of a special way to make it possible. In the poison formation, Xiao Wu leaned on Lu Erlong's thigh, looking at Lu Erlong's rare gentleness. Everyone was also incomparably surprised. This Lu Erlong's violence, everyone had seen, even Flender was secretly surprised. They didn't expect to see such a rare gentle side of Lu Erlong. Xiao Wu, are you willing to be my direct disciple? Lu Erlong asked in a low voice. With me here, I won't let anyone or spirit beast bully you again. Xiao Wu looked at the gentleness in Lu Erlong's eyes, and couldn't help but recall the gentleness in her mother's eyes, subconsciously blurting out, "I am willing." Speaking, she was about to stand up and take him as her master, but was suppressed by Lu Erlong. "No need for those etiquettes. What I hate the most is those etiquettes, even more disdainful of those ordinary reputations." Lu Erlong looked at Grandmaster as if implying something. "Teacher doesn't have any relatives now, even the man she loves doesn't want me. If you don't mind, call me mother in the future." Grandmaster. Xiao Wu was shocked in her heart and sighed. On one hand, she really felt that teacher Lu Erlong really thought like this. On the other hand, she naturally heard that teacher Lu Erlong was secretly cursing Grandmaster. Grandmaster and Lu Erlong's relationship was actually a lot more relaxed, but Grandmaster still couldn't let go of that special relationship between the two of them, leading to them being unable to be together perfectly. Thinking about it, Xiao Wu couldn't help thinking of herself and her brother, somewhat rejoicing, but also feeling sad for the two teachers, and also thinking of her mother. For a moment, Xiao Wu's eyes became misty, sobbing a few times, throwing herself at Lu Erlong. Mother, everyone watching also felt a burst of emotion. Grandmaster was startled, as if wanting to understand what they were talking about, but still struggling. And apart from Grandmaster, the others one after another stepped forward to congratulate. Recognizing one's mother, even if it was in the previous world, it would still be a major matter. Wang Feng watching also felt a burst of emotion. Xiao Wu's life, even among these people, wasn't worse than Tang San's, even a bit more miserable. At this time, Tang San's 8 spider lances also evolved because of absorbing the man-faced demon spider's cultivation. External spirit bones could all evolve. This was also why external spirit bones were so precious. They would evolve along with the master's strength. Just like Wang Feng's current mysterious underworld armor, after absorbing the 4th spirit ring, it also evolved, its power even stronger, and the number of mysterious underworld thorns increased. He was now already able to fuse the mysterious underworld thorns into a large-scale weapon, able to control several thousand mysterious underworld thorns. This really relied on the Black Hoop Spirit Skull. Because the more he controlled it, the greater the demand on his spiritual force. If he didn't have this skull, Wang Feng could at most control 3,000 mysterious underworld thorns, but with this skull, he could control 5,000. If it was on the battlefield, my mysterious underworld thorns would be a great killing weapon. Adding the raging ice flame lotus, its group attack ability wouldn't be inferior to Dugubo's. Wang Feng thought. If they were combined, they could even form a 2 or 3 meter long broadsword. One day, it would not be impossible for it to form a 40-meter long saber. Not long after Tang San finished absorbing the man-faced demon spider, he swiftly arrived in front of Xiao Wu, and everyone consciously gave them space to interact. He was either cultivating or absorbing the soul ring. Grandmaster walked alone to the side. In the situation just now, he didn't go congratulate Lu Erlong, only somewhat helpless. He wanted to do something, but was ultimately unable to break through that barrier. Erlong clearly already understood him very well, but he couldn't cross that hurdle in his heart. Grandmaster. At this moment, a faint voice echoed at Grandmaster's side. It was Wang Feng, only right now he wasn't wearing a mask. Xiao Feng, Grandmaster looked at Wang Feng, first staring blankly, because this was still the first time he saw Wang Feng in half a year. He had changed a lot. In comparison, his face had become a bit darker, probably because he had gone through a lot of battles. His face had also become even more angular, looking even more like a youth. Along the way, I'll first thank you on behalf of Little San and the others. Grandmaster sighed. Wang Feng waved his hand. Grandmaster, do you plan to continue like this with Teacher Erlong? Grandmaster was silent. He also knew that just now Wang Feng had certainly been quietly watching everything from the side. Am I not very much like a man? Grandmaster shook his head with a wry smile. Wang Feng smiled, shaking his head. Grandmaster, I know you care about your relationship with Teacher Erlong. Like this, I'll give you an idea. I'll ask you first, you love Teacher Erlong, right? Towards this point, Grandmaster nodded practically without any hesitation. In other words, your spirits are in love with each other. Only, Grandmaster, are you worried that having a physical relationship with Teacher Erlong would not be tolerated by the people of the world, and would be easily slandered by others? In fact, he was afraid of others talking nonsense. After all, they were cousins. Grandmaster nodded silently. Actually, this is simple. Wang Feng smiled and said, there's a term called platonic love. It means that between the sexes, only spiritual love can occur. There's no need for a physical relationship to occur, starting with feelings and ending with propriety. You and Teacher Erlong are in love with each other in spirit, then you can live together with Teacher Erlong, even if you sleep on the same bed, as long as no physical relationship occurs. Wouldn't that be fine? You can have a platonic spiritual love. When the time comes, even if someone asks, you can confidently answer. You haven't had a relationship. Like this, you can be together, and also avoid any gossip. Finished speaking, Wang Feng looked at Grandmaster. Chapter 274. Grandmaster's whole body seems to be struck by lightning. Platonic spiritual love. Grandmaster murmurs, so it can be like this. Why didn't I think of it? Xiaofeng, thank you, I understand. After saying that, Grandmaster runs back. Wang Feng secretly laughs. Grandmaster is a conservative person. Wang Feng remembers that in the original work, it seems that Flender enlightened Grandmaster. But now that the Dean did not enlighten him, he can only try it himself. But humans are flesh and blood, sleeping on the same bed. How can it be possible to have a true platonic spiritual love? Wang Feng shakes his head and says, moreover, with Teacher Erlong's age, Grandmaster, I'm afraid you will be eaten in a few nights. This kind of thing can only happen once or countless times. Looking at Grandmaster, Wang Feng puts on his mask again and goes to look at Ning Rongrong, who is currently absorbing the spirit ring. This girl, what is she thinking about? So happy. There's even a smile on her face? Wang Feng looks at Ning Rongrong, who is wrapped in purple light. That delicate little face seems to be dreaming, revealing a happy smile, and even a little rosy. Sweeping a glance from afar, Wang Feng turns away, walking to the other side to look at Zhu Zhuqing, who is currently absorbing the spirit ring. Zhu Zhuqing is still absorbing that ghost tiger's spirit ring. Her face does not have a smile, still cold and indifferent. Wang Feng slightly nods, again walking to the other side to look at Tang San, who has already entered the ice and fire yin-yang well and is currently absorbing the pit demon spider's spirit ring. Nodding his head, Wang Feng waited patiently. Not long after, Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing successively succeeded in absorbing the spirit ring, gathering together with everyone. The obtaining of the fourth spirit ring made the two slightly change. Ning Rongrong is a bit older, seeming a bit more mature. And the originally very old Zhu Zhuqing's face has somewhat shed the immaturity of a young girl. Originally her figure and childish face made her a lot more mature than other girls of the same age, and the absorption of the fourth spirit ring made her immature face a bit more mature. But her temperament is still even colder. Probably because of that ghost tiger's influence. Very soon, everyone has been waiting until daybreak, until the sun rises. Finally, Tang San also awoke. Xiao Wu is the first to rush out, tightly hugging Tang San, who has rushed out of the ice and fire yin-yang well. The three people's spirit abilities also revealed themselves. Ning Rongrong's fourth spirit ability, besides being able to add defense to her teammates, also has a short period of immunity to negative effects. It should be the effect of that purple scale armor. Although it doesn't last long, it's still powerful enough. Similar to paralysis, poison, these kinds of special attacks can all be temporarily immune. Compared to Oscar's pink sausage, it's also not inferior. Zhu Zhuqing's fourth spirit ability is the Shadow Clone attack, turning into 4 clones, attacking. Tang San's blue-silver prison is a group control that makes everyone feel exceptionally shocked. For this they even experimented. Even though the blue-silver prison's toughness and poison can't compare to the third spirit ability's spiderweb restraint, this is a preemptive attack for group control. Only spirit masters over the 50th rank can possibly obtain group control. Little San's blue-silver prison's toughness isn't strong, even a power attack type spirit master like Mubai can break it. But any team doesn't only have power attack types, there are still other types. Grandmaster sighed in admiration. In a group melee, it can display an absolutely fatal effect. Perhaps it won't increase his individual fighting strength much, but in a group, if combined with Hongjuan's Phoenix Cry Sky Strike, it can be called unequaled. Everyone nodded. Ma Hongjuan's Phoenix Cry Sky Strike just happened to need preemptive control, and Tang San's blue-silver prison was also a group preemptive control. It could even be called an extremely perfect control. Alright, in this trip to the Sunset Forest, all of you, besides Xiao Wu, have already reached the 41st rank, and have also obtained suitable spirit rings. It's about time to return. Flender's heart immediately became free and easy. 5 soul skills gave Shrek's 7 devils an incomparably huge boost in strength. It even made them feel that this Continental High-Level Elite Tournament Championship was already in the bag. Wait, Grandmaster, we still haven't fought that 6-ring Spirit Emperor Senior? Did we pass the special training? At this moment, Tang San suddenly asked. Grandmaster and the others looked at each other, for a moment not knowing how to reply. You guys, wanting to lift his mask and pass the special training is a bit difficult, next time. Lu Erlong said with a smile. Just now, Grandmaster had already completely reconciled with her, and even promised to be together with her in the future. Although she didn't know what Grandmaster had been touched by, it still made Lu Erlong feel incomparably happy. After bitterly waiting for more than 10 years, she had finally achieved the right result, so now her mood was very free and easy, without that kind of irritable mood from before. When she spoke, she also had a somewhat comforting smile. Tang San thought about it. Even if the 5 of them had obtained their 4th spirit ability, wanting to lift the mask in the state they were in the night before yesterday, it really seemed somewhat difficult. At this moment, Zhu Zhuqing suddenly opened her mouth to say, "Not necessarily." Seeing this, everyone couldn't help but look at her in shock. "I have a way we can lift his mask." Zhu Zhuqing was silent for a moment, then said, "This method may require everyone's cooperation. In order to prevent him from listening to us, everyone gather first. I'll trouble the 3 teachers to shield us from the perception of the outside world. Let the 7 of us discuss." Flender and Lu Erlong looked at it, feeling a little surprised for a moment. They didn't know what Zhu Zhuqing would do. However, the 4 teachers still did as they were told, directly using their spirit power to create a protective cover, letting the 7 of them discuss in the protective cover. They also couldn't hear what the 7 of them were discussing. Wang Feng also couldn't hear. What method can Zhuqing have to lift my mask? Wang Feng was also somewhat puzzled. Even if the 5 of them had obtained their 4th spirit ability, they should also know that he was watching in the dark. As long as I enter the Void Realm, you won't be able to lift my mask. Wang Feng shook his head. No matter what method they wanted to use, it was almost impossible to lift his mask. Wang Feng looked at the few people muttering. Flender, Lu Erlong, and Zhao Wuji still blocked the 7 people. Let's do this first. Then do that, finally this, in the light cover. After listening to Zhu Zhuqing's method, the few of them looked at her somewhat strangely. It's a very good method, Tang San praised. It can be called exquisite beyond compare. This six-ring spirit emperor probably also can't think of it. Zhu Qing, you're too smart. How did you think of this method? Xiao Wu said. Then who will be the bait? Ning Rongrong thought about it. As an auxiliary system spirit master, I'm not suitable as bait. How about we do it? Dai Mubai, Oscar, and Ma Hongjun were the same. Zhu Qing shook her head. The method I thought of, I'll do it myself, and I'm also the most suitable as an agility attack system. But the specifics still have to depend on the actual situation. Hearing this, the few of them stared blankly, also somewhat strangely looking at Zhu Qing. But Tang San seemed pensive. Chapter 275. That's fine, it's decided. Tang San clapped his hands, bringing the 7 people out of the light cover, shouting loudly, Senior, we've already obtained spirit rings, this special training, shouldn't it also be over? Flender's 4 people also left far away, roughly knowing that a fight should erupt in a moment. Just as Tang San's voice fell, a silhouette, swiftly flashing from a distant large tree, that white silhouette, practically making it difficult for everyone to detect. Very quickly, Wang Feng appeared 50 meters away from everyone, calmly looking at everyone. Why still not giving up? The white silhouette issued several ice-cold laughter. Then I'll once again give you one last chance. At this moment, Tang San's group first bowed towards the white silhouette, saying, Senior, even though it was you who carried out the special training for us, it was still a great help to us. Hear us Shrek's 7 devils express our gratitude to you. 3 confrontations, plus last night's spirit beasts, the 7 people had indeed benefited a lot. No need for nonsense. To be able to remove my mask, you'll be considered to have passed this time's special training. The rules are here. The white silhouette waved his hand. Tang San's group of 7 also nodded. In a flash, the 7 people attacked. Ning Rongrong at the first moment boosted everyone. Oscar's pink sausage also swiftly fell into the 7 people's hands. Wang Feng also didn't stop them. He wanted to see what method these 7 had just discussed to remove his mask. This time, the attack was still led by Dai Mubai, Xiao Wu on the right, Zhu Qing on the left. The blue-silver grass also flew towards Wang Feng. Haven't changed? Wang Feng inwardly said, something's wrong. Just as he was thinking, at this moment Dai Mubai using White Tiger Vajra transformation, eating the pink sausage, and also being boosted by Ning Rongrong, with his current strength, even a 50-something ranked battle spirit master could still fight. Only Dai Mubai shot forward, but didn't charge at Wang Feng, but rather suddenly stopped. Then, he unleashed his full power. A white tiger meteor shower shot towards Wang Feng's location. At the same time, only the blue-silver grass behind flung, a red silhouette flung over, and Xiao Wu caught this silhouette in midair. She arched her waist, relying on formidable waist strength, unexpectedly directly catapulting this silhouette once again, falling behind Wang Feng. Phoenix Cry Sky Strike. Ma Hongjun, who was instantly left behind, would directly use his 4th soul skill. A terrifying shock echoed within a 5-meter range of him. Let alone Wang Feng not being within the range of this spirit ability, even if he was, he still wouldn't be shaken unconscious. Just what method is Zhu Qing thinking? Wang Feng felt somewhat strange, going big as soon as you arrived and still making this kind of noise. White Tiger Meteor Shower attacked. Several dozen golden spheres of light, not a single one able to hit Wang Feng, all of them easily and directly dodged by Wang Feng. Then Ma Hongjun's second attack of Phoenix Cry Sky Strike also attacked. A terrifying magma attack, shaking the earth. But it still didn't hit Wang Feng. Instead Wang Feng, with an instant flash, first sent Dai Mubai flying with a palm, then directly in midair, kicked Ma Hongjun flying. In an instant, both of their attacks were broken. This kind of large-scale attack seemed very powerful, but it had no effect on Wang Feng. He could dodge it even without using his void mirror. Previously, Tang San had covered the entire battlefield with blue-silver grass, created a terrifying blue-silver grass net, and then used Ma Hongjun's Phoenix Fireline to ignite the battlefield to block Wang Feng's attack. "Where's Zhu Zhuqing?" Wang Feng suddenly looked to the other side. He could completely sense that Zhu Zhuqing hadn't attacked at this time, but was instead using her fourth soul skill to create shadow doppelgangers in the surroundings and quickly moving around. Zhu Zhuqing's body? Why is there a special smell? Wang Feng immediately smelled something special on Zhu Zhuqing's body. That's the delicate silk immortal's fragrance. Wang Feng was enlightened. So that's how it is. Is she trying to use the delicate silk immortal and the huge commotion created by her attack to attract soul beasts to attack me? Not bad, not bad. You can think of this method. Dai Mubai and Ma Hongjun's fourth soul skills could create a huge commotion. There was no need to talk about the white tiger meteor shower. Every golden speck of light would explode. Ma Hongjun's Phoenix Skycry was derived from the King of the Earth's magma earthrending strike. Not only was its attack extremely powerful, but it could also create a huge commotion. If the delicate silk immortal's fragrance was added to the mix, it could indeed attract soul beasts in a short period of time. When they were discussing just now, Little San must have temporarily given his 100 treasures pouch to Zhu Zhuqing. No wonder she has such a special fragrance. Wang Feng nodded in his heart. The huge commotion created by the attack and Zhuqing's speed will allow the fragrance to quickly spread in all directions. This will attract soul beasts in an extremely short period of time. Not bad. They know that it's difficult to do this with just 7 people, so they'll borrow external strength. This was a very good method. But this method has a fatal flaw. Wang Feng frowned as he looked at Zhu Zhuqing. Right at this moment, roar! In the dark, a huge figure directly pounced towards Zhu Zhuqing. Evidently, soul beasts had already been attracted over. This flaw is that you have the delicate silk immortal on you. The soul beasts will attack you immediately. Wang Feng frowned slightly as his pupils contracted. Following this, numerous exclamations sounded. Zhuqing, be careful! Oh no, it's a 10,000-year ghost tiger. Quick dodge! How did we attract such a powerful soul beast? Tang San's group of 7 exclaimed. The other teachers were also frightened as they watched. One by one, they activated their martial soul true bodies. No, it's too far. Flender and Lu Erlong's hearts turned slightly cold. They could vaguely see through the Seven's plan. But before they could think of the flaw in this plan, the soul beasts had already attacked. And it was a 10,000-year ghost tiger. A 10,000-year ghost tiger was many times stronger than a 1,000-year ghost tiger. Its speed and attack were far superior. Furthermore, a 10,000-year ghost tiger could even teleport short distances, appearing in front of them like a shadow. The ghost tiger, which was 7 to 8 meters long and 4 meters tall, pounced, and its huge body turned into an afterimage. Immediately after, it appeared 2 to 3 meters away from Zhu Zhuqing. It was almost about to tear Zhu Zhuqing into pieces in an instant. This ghost tiger's speed was too fast. And at this moment, Zhu Zhuqing was still leaping in midair. She had just turned her head when she saw the ghost tiger pouncing at her. Her face turned slightly pale. At this moment, even if Flender and Lu Erlong's reactions were fast, in front of the ghost tiger's short-distance teleportation, they couldn't catch up at all. Wang Feng quivered when he saw this. He couldn't care too much. Without saying anything, he instantly entered the empty realm state. The surrounding air seemed to flow at a speed that was 10 times slower. Wang Feng directly turned into a ray of light and directly rushed in front of Zhu Zhuqing. He directly hugged her waist and turned his back on everyone. Then, he circulated his soul power and punched the ghost tiger with all his strength, instantly dispelling the empty realm state. Boom! The ghost tiger seemed to be hit by an air cannon, and was sent flying out of thin air. As it was sent flying, its body rapidly disintegrated, bursting into bursts of blood. The scene was incomparably shocking. Carrying Zhu Zhuqing, Wang Feng slowly landed with his back on everyone. Seeing that the ghost tiger was sent flying, he hurriedly turned his head to look at Zhu Zhuqing and asked, "How are you? Are you okay?" Halfway through his words, Wang Feng saw a flash of slyness in Zhu Zhuqing's eyes. In the next moment, the mask on his face was quickly removed by Zhu Zhuqing, who was in his arms. Wang Feng. Continue at night. End of this chapter. Chapter 276. This was a meticulous plan. It seemed like they were trying to lure the soul beasts over to attack them, but they were actually using the fact that Wang Feng, a six-ringed soul emperor, wouldn't let anything happen to them. They used the enemy's weakness to successfully tear off Wang Feng's mask. Luring the soul beasts over to attack them was just a pretense. It had to be said that this idea was very brilliant. It had started from the moment the seven of them teamed up and allowed Dai Mubai and Ma Hongjun to unleash their soul skills to create a huge commotion. Zhu Zhuqing was an agility-type soul master. She carried the delicate silk immortal with her as she swiftly circled the area without attacking. One reason was to lure the soul beasts over. The soul beasts that she lured over naturally weren't to attack Wang Feng. They were to attack her. Because she had the delicate silk immortal with her, she was the first soul beast to attack. On the other hand, Zhu Zhuqing didn't tell anyone that she was testing Wang Feng. As an agility-type soul beast, Zhu Zhuqing could control the distance between them. She wouldn't be too far away from Wang Feng, but she wouldn't be too close either. She could give Wang Feng a perfect opportunity to save her. But in reality, the number of soul beasts that she lured over exceeded Zhu Zhuqing's expectations. This was why she said before the battle that they would have to see how they performed in actual combat. This 10,000-year ghost tiger that was lured over was clearly beyond her expectations. It was too strong. Even Zhu Zhuqing couldn't react in time. When the ghost tiger attacked, she felt that she was done for. Although this idea was good, it was still too difficult to implement. The soul beast that was lured over was an uncertain factor. If it was terrifyingly strong, what would happen if this six-ringed soul emperor couldn't save her in time? Therefore, when Zhu Zhuqing turned around and saw the ghost tiger pouncing over, her face was incomparably pale. The shouts and worries of the crowd weren't an act either. They were real. It was to the extent that Wang Feng didn't notice any problems. The plan was very good, but he never expected that it would be a 10,000-year ghost tiger. Even Flender, Zhao Wuji, and Lu Erlong couldn't save her in time. It could be said that this plan had been carried out perfectly from the start. In the end, the appearance of this 10,000-year ghost tiger far exceeded everyone's expectations. And what exceeded everyone's expectations even more was naturally the six-ringed soul emperor's attack. It was terrifying. It was as if they had returned to that night. In an instant, the six-ringed soul emperor disappeared, and when he reappeared, he had already successfully saved Zhu Zhuqing. The ghost tiger was also smashed into pieces on the spot. The plan had returned to what the seven of them had thought. When this six-ringed soul emperor saved Zhu Zhuqing, it was also the only time they could come into contact with him. It was also the best chance to remove his mask. Which was now. Wang Feng held on to Zhu Zhuqing's slender waist and descended from mid-air. Because Wang Feng's back was facing Tang San and the others, they couldn't clearly see what this six-ringed soul emperor looked like with his mask removed. They could only see Zhu Zhuqing's clear and cold eyes wide open. It was as if she had seen something unbelievable. The mask that Zhu Zhuqing had thrown away was instantly caught by the other party's hand. When it landed on the ground, it was put back on. Zhu Zhuqing walked out of the other party's embrace shyly, but she was somewhat silent. "You guys have gone a little too far." Wang Feng's cold voice came slowly. Tang San and the others immediately lowered their heads. And you? Wang Feng looked at Zhu Zhuqing, who was still in a daze, and said in a low voice, "This is a good idea, but have you thought about what if a more powerful spirit beast appeared?" Zhu Zhuqing also lowered her head, but her toes couldn't be seen, and her head shook slightly. It was like a child who had made a mistake and was being scolded by a teacher. What if that 10,000-year spirit beast was a little stronger? Wang Feng's voice became a little louder. If it was a little stronger, even if I could still save her, I still have to teach you a lesson. Wang Feng had really been scared just now. That 10,000-year ghost tiger had charged at Zhu Zhuqing. If he had been 2 seconds late, or if he hadn't evolved to the Void Realm, he wouldn't have been able to save her. There was only one possibility for Zhu Zhuqing: death. You guys. Grandmaster's group of 4 also walked over with anxious expressions, their expressions incomparably serious as they scolded everyone. Tang San, this idea was Zhuqing's idea. But as the commander, without your approval, it's impossible to carry out this plan. If something happens, who will take responsibility? They had been scared just now. Fortunately Lin Feng acted quickly, otherwise Zhu Zhuqing would definitely be a corpse now. Tang San, somewhat ashamed, lowered his head and said, "Teacher, I'm sorry." He also hadn't expected that in such a short time, a spirit beast like the 10,000-year ghost tiger would be attracted. Normally, in such a short time, it was reasonable to say that such a powerful spirit beast wouldn't be attracted. When Grandmaster and the others heard this, they originally wanted to say something, but Wang Feng waved his hand to cut them off. No need, actually it's not entirely their fault. It's all because of the 10,000-year ghost tiger. Besides the methods they used, it should also be because Zhu Zhuqing absorbed the spirit ring of the ghost tiger. These 2 ferocious ghost tigers should know each other, probably because they sensed the ghost tiger's aura on Zhu Zhuqing. They were immediately attracted. Hearing this, everyone somewhat understood. Everyone came to a sudden realization. It was no wonder that such a powerful ghost tiger would be attracted. Alright, special training counts as you all passing. Wang Feng swept his gaze over everyone, then turned around intending to leave. At this time, Zhu Zhuqing suddenly took a few steps forward and gently pulled on Wang Feng's white robe, whispering, "Thank you. I won't do this kind of thing again." Speaking up to hear, Zhu Zhuqing muttered again, "Also, I should know who you are." Wang Feng didn't answer, only pulling back his robe, and with a few leaps, disappeared from where he was like a shadow. Alright, you can go back. You all have perfectly passed the special training and the first test," Flender said quickly, then led the way back to the academy. At this time, Tang San and the others immediately surrounded Zhu Zhuqing. "Zhuqing, just now you lifted the mask of this 6-ring spirit emperor. Did you clearly see what he looked like? Male or female?" Xiao Wu asked curiously. This mysterious 6-ring spirit emperor's whole body was covered. His voice was neutral and cold. His behavior was strange, making people completely unable to see through him. Xiao Wu's question was also what everyone was curious about, and they all looked at Zhu Zhuqing. However, Zhu Zhuqing shook her head. "I don't know." "You don't know? Didn't you lift his mask?" Ning Rongrong asked doubtfully. Unexpectedly, Zhu Zhuqing answered. Under his mask there was still another mask. Everyone, they were immediately dumbfounded. Because the other party's back was facing them just now, they didn't see what the other party looked like after being lifted. But Zhu Zhuqing was in the other party's arms. They should be able to see it, right? They didn't expect that there was actually another mask. Isn't this too mysterious and cautious? Ma Hongjun said exaggeratedly. So awesome? Just now, he saved Zhu Qing in an instant and killed that 10,000-year-old ghost tiger with a punch. I didn't expect him to be so mysterious. You can't even tell if it's a man or a woman. You should be able to tell from the smell, right? Or the toughness of the body. Ning Rongrong asked doubtfully. Just now, Zhu Zhuqing was being carried. It should be easy to tell, right? Zhu Zhuqing shook her head and said in a somewhat shy tone, "There's no smell on his body. It's all removed. His chest is covered with a layer of something similar to an iron plate. You can't even feel his heartbeat. His hands are also covered with very thick clothes. I can't even feel his skin." Wang Feng's ability to disguise himself was extraordinary. How could he be discovered so easily? End of this chapter. Chapter 277. Isn't he too strong? Oscar couldn't help but say, the method we thought of to distinguish them was completely anticipated by the other party. Grandmaster's six-ringed spirit emperor friend is too mysterious. What a strong disguise technique, Tang San said in a low voice, from his voice to his smell, every part of his body, and even more than one mask. This kind of disguise technique is somewhat frightening. However, Tang San had some faint guesses in his heart. While everyone was amazed, they were also incomparably impressed. Only Zhu Zhuqing remained silent. No one knew what she was thinking. No matter what, we passed the special training test. When we return to the academy, we should be able to see Wang Feng. Ning Rongrong glanced at Zhu Zhuqing and suddenly said happily. However, just as she finished speaking, her expression slightly collapsed, but in a few days, it will be the Advanced Elite Soul Master Tournament. I wonder if Wang Feng will be with us. Hearing Ning Rongrong's words, everyone's minds finally came back. Don't worry, Grandmaster told us that we can bring substitutes in the Advanced Elite Soul Master Tournament. Ma Hongjun laughed mischievously. When the time comes, Captain will be our trump card substitute. There's such a thing? Really? If that's the case, then that's great. I wonder how much Brother Feng has grown in this half a year. Everyone carried a bellyful of excitement as they returned to Shrek Academy. He was not disappointed when he saw Wang Feng. When they saw Wang Feng was leisurely lying on a boulder in the Academy's plaza, still chewing a strand of blue-silver grass from who knew where in his mouth. Seeing this scene, everyone's mouths simultaneously twitched. They hadn't seen each other for more than half a year. In everyone's eyes, Wang Feng's originally fair skin had been a bit darkened by the sun, carrying a somewhat masculine youthful aura, his height also more than 180 centimeters. Right now his eyes were closed, humming a little tune, wearing a light gray windbreaker with a tight black battle suit inside, long hair naturally hanging down. His temperament was somewhat lazy, but they could still feel that special aura. A formidable aura. Fighting Air Ming for more than half a year, even if Wang Feng didn't reveal anything, he still had a peculiar aura. However, none of them were familiar with this posture. Only Tang San was incomparably moved. In the blink of an eye, almost 8 years had passed. Wang Feng's posture, to Tang San, was incomparably familiar. Yo, I heard you went to obtain your 4th spirit rings? Wang Feng also seemed to sense Tang San's party. With a light leap, he directly landed with a carp flip from the boulder, looking at them with a smile. Seeing this, the rest of the people also surrounded them with smiles. Afterwards they all directly introduced their 4th spirit abilities. Even though Wang Feng already knew, he still impatiently listened until they finished. Not bad, you've all become a lot stronger. After listening, Wang Feng pretended to sigh with emotion. Right now I can't even beat 7 of you. They all covered their mouths and laughed. Wang Feng, when did you come back? At this moment, Ning Rongrong suddenly asked. Wang Feng stared blankly, casually saying, in the morning. Afterwards the academy students said you went to Sunset Forest. I originally wanted to go see, but thinking it's already been a few days, you should have returned. I might as well wait here for you to return. Is that so? Ning Rongrong's eyes turned. That's really a coincidence. I'm a bit tired, Grandmaster gave us a day off. I'll find you again tomorrow. Speaking, Ning Rongrong took a step forward and left. Seeing this, everyone also took a step forward one after another. As for the matter of Wang Feng going to cultivate, they also didn't ask. Brother Feng, we'll also go rest first. I haven't had a good sleep in several days. I'll find you again tomorrow to chat. Tang San also let out a yawn. The group also left one after another to rest first. Wang Feng looked at everyone and smiled. He felt it was strange that they actually didn't ask about the sunset forest. Night, a quiet night. Wang Feng was taking a nap when suddenly, there was a knock on the door. Opening the door, Wang Feng stared blankly. Smiling, he said, "Zhu Qing, aren't you going to rest?" Outside the door was shockingly Zhu Qing. At this moment, she was dressed in black, like a fairy under the moon, extremely beautiful and moving. "I have something to talk to you about." Zhu Qing looked at Wang Feng and said softly. Wang Feng's heart moved. He thought to himself, could it be that I've been discovered? I don't think so. My disguise is very good. Even if I hug her, I won't be able to see her. Even if I hugged her, she wouldn't be able to detect that it was me. She might not even be able to distinguish my gender. Standing outside the door, Zhu Qing put her hands behind her back, and suddenly said, "Thank you." Wang Feng glanced at Zhu Qing and said in surprise, "What are you thanking me for?" Zhu Qing suddenly revealed a trace of a smile. "Thank you for helping us in the setting sun forest. Also, thank you for saving me." She rarely smiled. This smile was naturally extremely beautiful, like the first melting of ice and snow. One couldn't help but hold their breath, wanting to remember this smile with their eyes. "What are you talking about?" Wang Feng frowned and said directly, but he didn't fall for the trick. "I don't quite understand." The agreement between him and Grandmaster was that it was best not to expose his identity as a six-ringed Soul Emperor in front of the 7 people, because in the future, there would be a chance to give the 7 people special training. Zhu Qing said softly, "In the setting sun forest, you disguised yourself very well. There was no smell on your body, even I couldn't smell it at all. But..." At this point, Zhu Qing's face turned slightly red, but her voice was still clear and cold. "You hugged me, and you have my smell on your body. I noticed it just now. This kind of smell, only I can smell it." Wang Feng was shocked. "This girl, isn't she too cunning?" "Wait, no. When I came back, I took a bath and changed my clothes. Even if there was really a smell that only Zhu Qing could smell, it would have long been washed away. Even if it couldn't be washed away, it was such a long distance from the setting sun forest to the academy, even if there was a smell, it would have long been gone, right?" In a flash, while Wang Feng was thinking, he suddenly felt that something was wrong. "Oh no," at this moment, Zhu Qing's clear and cold voice sounded again. "Actually, there is no special smell on my body. But, you're silent, you're thinking. In other words, my guess is right?" Wang Feng was speechless. How could this girl be so good at this? Sherlock Holmes. There were many loopholes in Zhu Qing's words, but the question was asked in a hurry. As long as you thought about it, even if you figured it out, you would still fall into the other party's trap. Because this kind of question, if you didn't have that identity, you wouldn't be able to think about it, and you wouldn't have any reason to think about it. Wang Feng didn't know what to say for a moment. Zhu Qing's face was slightly red, and she moved a little closer. She tugged on Wang Feng's right sleeve and whispered, "Don't worry, I won't tell anyone. Just treat it as a secret between us." Finished speaking, Zhu Qing didn't even turn her head and walked out. Wang Feng sighed, looked at Zhu Qing's perfect back, and shook his head. "Secret my ass." However, even if Zhu Qing knew, it didn't matter. Thinking like this, Wang Feng looked at the sky, returned to his room, and continued to rest and cultivate. At this time, there was another knock on the door. Wang Feng opened the door, and it was Ning Rongrong. "Wang Feng, I have something to talk to you about," Ning Rongrong said softly. Wang Feng stared blankly, and immediately asked, "What is it?" "Wang Feng, the setting sun forest's 6-ring spirit emperor, is it you?" Ning Rongrong opened her mouth, and the words caught him off guard. End of this chapter. Chapter 278. Although I can't kill you, I can't avoid beating you up. Wang Feng laughed in his heart. He definitely didn't dare to kill him. After all, Qian Rinxue had a rank 99 exceptional Douluo and the martial spirit hall's mother behind him. They weren't people to be trifled with. If he was discovered, Wang Feng knew that he would be finished. After all, his grandfather also had a six-winged angel martial soul. Furthermore, Wang Feng couldn't find a reason to kill him. He wouldn't do such a stupid thing. As he thought, Wang Feng directly attacked Qian Rinxue. Countless black threads streaked across the sky. Because he was too fast, the black fog on Wang Feng's body was completely scattered in the air. It seemed to form a unique aura. This terrifying aura attracted those ferocious soul beasts. However, to other soul beasts it was extremely fatal. Hence, there were almost no soul beasts nearby. Qian Rinxue's pupils shrank. He only felt that his opponent was extremely fast. He couldn't see him at all. It was a complete illusion. He couldn't help but be shocked. How strong was Wang Feng's physique now? With the circulation of his soul power, he was at least far stronger than a rank 60 soul warrior. He was comparable to a rank 70 soul warrior. Coupled with the angel martial soul, his physical strength was at least 3 times stronger. Furthermore, his comprehensive senses were greatly enhanced. Coupled with the mysterious empty realm state and the terror of the god-slaying spear, even 20,000-year ferocious soul beasts could only be beaten up. This was also under the condition that Wang Feng didn't use a divinized soul skill on himself. The god-slaying spear could almost cause fatal injuries to soul beasts. Just a slight injury would spread in an instant. It couldn't be healed even if one recovered. There was no need to talk about toughness. Although Wang Feng was very unfamiliar with the god-slaying spear at the beginning, after getting used to it, even a simple flick or stab could cause great damage. Furthermore, Wang Feng faintly felt that using the god-slaying spear to kill these soul beasts or other living beings wouldn't affect his karmic power. This meant that no matter how many bad things he did in the future, his soul and spirit would remain in the state after being tempered by the Red Lotus. If it really had such an effect, it would be too terrifying. Not to mention the murderous aura that the god-slaying spear contained. Although it might be because the god-slaying spear was not in its complete form, it was not as terrifying as one would die upon contact. However, it would also cause living beings to feel boundless fear. Innately, it would cause them to be afflicted with a state of fear. Their wounds could not be healed. To put it simply, it was forbidden healing. If he was injured, he would die. The god-slaying spear is too murderous. It's even more terrifying than the mysterious underworld spike. Wang Fengxin thought to himself. As long as the mysterious underworld spike didn't touch a vital point, the other party could still use their soul power to resist it. However, the fiendish aura within the god-slaying spear could directly damage one's soul and body. No matter how small the damage was, it could not be healed. Even if a titled Douluo could resist it with their soul power, they wouldn't be able to heal it completely. Combined with the dark angel martial soul, its power increased exponentially. However, the consumption of soul power was also very high. A normal rank 40 soul master wouldn't even be able to last 20 seconds. Furthermore, the god-slaying spear might not be able to hurt a titled Dalu. However, this was a soul-slaying spear without a soul ring. However, Wang Feng had not tested whether the Golden Lotus healing ability could heal the damage caused by the soul-slaying spear. Logically speaking, it should be possible. At this moment, bang! Wang Feng didn't use the soul-slaying spear. Instead, he punched Qian Rinxue's abdomen. He sent Qian Rinxue flying again. Following this, he flashed and appeared behind Qian Rinxue. He punched Qian Rinxue's shoulder again. Bang! 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 Wang Feng didn't have any intention of showing mercy. Furthermore, Qian Rinxue is in male disguise now. I, Wang Feng, think that you are a man, the most beautiful woman in the Douluo continent? Sorry, I can't see it. After a while, Dong. Qian Rinxue was beaten to the ground with a swollen face. His eyes were filled with anger and indignation. He's too strong. He's too strong. I'm no match for him at all. To be precise, I'm completely restrained. In the end, Wang Feng stepped on Qian Rinxue and said in a hoarse voice, I said, you can't beat me. I told you, you can't beat me. Why don't you just leave? Qian Rinxue just stared at Wang Feng's blood-red eyes. She didn't expect that Qian Rinxue, a rank 20 innate full soul power and a 6-winged angel martial soul, would be beaten up so badly by Wang Feng without even knowing who he was. No one in the martial spirit palace or the Heaven Do imperial family dared to treat her like this. Never. Qian Rinxue's eyes were burning with anger, but he looked at the man in front of him coldly. She could feel that Wang Feng didn't want to kill her. It seemed that he just wanted to beat her up. However, she couldn't swallow this anger. Goodbye. Wang Feng chuckled. Wang Feng didn't know who he was anyway. Not to mention that he was wearing a mask. Even if he took off the mask, his appearance would have changed greatly. Qian Rinxue wouldn't be able to recognize that he was Wang Feng. The possession of the Dark Angel martial soul had brought about a great change to him. Qian Rinxue looked at him coldly. She just wanted to remember him clearly, but she knew that it would be difficult to find him no matter how hard she tried. Wang Feng was about to leave. Wang Feng wasn't worried about Qian Rinxue's life being threatened. With her identity, she would definitely be protected by a powerful soul master. She probably wasn't here for some reason, but she would be here soon. However, when Wang Feng turned around, suddenly, the ground trembled violently. A terrifying soul beast burrowed out from the ground behind him. Wang Feng's eyes narrowed when he saw this soul beast. A blood-winged dragon beetle? Wang Feng looked at the terrifying thing that had burrowed out from the ground. More than 60,000 years old? Why is it here? Could it be that he was attracted by my aura? This kind of soul beast is extremely violent. I'm afraid it's attracted to my dark aura. Wang Feng knew that something was wrong. This kind of ferocious soul beast was only slightly inferior to Erming. When he first came, he bragged that he wanted to fight with Erming, but he was just bragging. Wang Feng didn't want to be beaten up. But this blood-winged dragon beetle is injured. Is it injured when it fought with the soul master beside Qian Rinxue? But it doesn't seem to be very serious. Wang Feng thought for a while and felt that the situation was a little tricky. He didn't have much soul power left. If it was in its best state, Wang Feng would dare to try to kill it with the Panguak. But now, even the energy stored in the Black Lotus was almost used up. Although the two types of martial souls didn't conflict, it consumed too much energy to use them. Let's retreat first. I can go to the depths of the forest and use the card. Wang Feng thought. But just as he thought so, he saw Qian Rinxue panting and staring at him. She struggled slightly, obviously wanting to get up and run, but she didn't have the strength to stand up. She was beaten up a little by Wang Feng just now. Wait, if I leave like this, she will die. Wang Feng was stunned. Suddenly, he thought that if Qian Rinxue died here, the Douluo world would change greatly, right? No, if Qian Rinxue died, the martial spirit palace would definitely be furious. With her mother's temper, she might even start the plan to unify the continent in advance. Wouldn't it be over? End of this chapter. Chapter 279. I can't let her die like this. If she dies, there will be too many variables. I'm not strong enough yet. I can't even defeat a titled Douluo, and I'm only rank 40. Wang Feng thought for a moment before he walked over to Qian Rinxue. What are you trying to do? Qian Rinxue asked coldly. Without another word, Wang Feng carried Qian Rinxue on his shoulder. Then, He glanced at the wild flame howling sky tiger that was as big as a small truck. With one hand, he dragged Qian Rinxue into the depths of the forest. The blood-winged dragon beetle seemed to have discovered Wang Feng's figure as it charged towards him. Unfortunately, Wang Feng was too fast. For the sake of speed, Wang Feng removed his mysterious underworld armor and increased his speed by several times. Wang Feng carried the Qian Rinxue as he ran deeper into the forest. However, the earthquake continued to sound behind him. Wang Feng could feel that his aura had been locked onto. No matter how fast he was, he couldn't escape from his opponent's sight. I can't keep running like this. Wang Feng frowned. Even if Wang Feng hid his dark angel martial soul, he couldn't avoid being locked onto by a 60,000-year soul beast. This wasn't Erming. Because of Xiao Wu, Erming didn't kill them back then. This blood-winged dragon beetle was different. Qian Rinxue, who was on Wang Feng's shoulder, was stunned when Wang Feng lifted her up. Why did this person save me? Qian Rinxue's mind was in a mess. This trip was second only to her experience of infiltrating the Heaven Do Empire. She didn't find Wang Feng. Instead, she found the aura that had appeared 7 years ago. She even saw him in person. Although she didn't know who he was, she was beaten up. Now, she was saved by him again. She was trying her best to escape from the blood-winged dragon beetle. Qian Rinxue could also sense the aura locked onto by the blood-winged dragon beetle. If only there was something that could block my aura. Wait for me to recover. I'll use my panga axe to kill you, you stinking bug. Wang Feng panted slightly. Unknowingly, Wang Feng felt that his soul power was slowly being consumed, and his soul power was gradually becoming empty. At this time, Wang Feng concealed the soul-slaying spear. However, he did not dare to remove the Dark Angel Martial Spirit's possession because once it was removed, his speed would greatly decrease. He would definitely be eaten by the blood-winged dragon beetle. At this time, he couldn't count on the meteoric tear because even if it reached its limit, it would definitely be eaten before it could recover. They all needed time. Qian Rinxue fell silent. She could also feel that her soul power was rapidly depleting. She probably wouldn't be able to hold on for much longer. The blood-winged dragon beetles behind them were getting closer and closer. It began to fly into the air. Coupled with its aura lock, even if Wang Feng was faster than it, the gap between them would not be too big. Put me down, Qian Rinxue said calmly. How much faster do you think I can run if I put you down? With your physique, you'll be gone in one bite. You won't even be able to stop it for a second. Wang Feng couldn't help but laugh hoarsely. If you were a soul beast right now, maybe I could throw you out and let him have a few more bites. Qian Rinxue. With that, Wang Feng threw the wild flame howling divine tiger in his hand towards the blood-winged dragon beetle. Sure enough, when the dragon beetle saw the wild flame howling divine tiger, it was slightly stunned. It opened its mouth and swallowed it directly. The chewing sound was abnormally loud, causing Qian Rinxue's entire body to go numb. However, such a huge wild flame howling divine tiger could not stop the dragon beetle's speed. It continued to chew while charging towards Wang Feng. Did you see that? You don't even have a tenth of this howling divine tiger's size. If I throw you in, you'll probably turn into its feces. Wang Feng's hoarse voice carried a hint of ridicule. Qian Rinxue was silent for a moment before saying calmly, "Then let's die together." Die my ass. I don't want to die. Wang Feng thought to himself. He was about to reach the depth. According to Wang Feng's idea, if he ran towards the depths and ran to Erming's side, the crisis would naturally be resolved. Erming knew him and was at least Xiao Wu's friend, right? It was better than falling into the mouth of this stinky bug. Secondly, if he could get something good by punching in, he could also avoid the crisis. Both of them could solve this crisis. Seeing that Wang Feng did not speak, Qian Rinxue also fell silent. There was only the whistling of the wind in their ears. This was the first time Qian Rinxue had been carried on someone's shoulder like this, but she did not feel much. The crisis of death made her think too much at this moment. After a long time, sensing that the dragon beetle was getting closer and closer, Qian Rinxue suddenly asked in a low voice, "What's your name?" Wang Feng did not answer this time. The trees in front of them suddenly became denser, and the steep terrain was undulating. The weak soul beasts around them had long been scared away by the dragon beetle's aura. Not long after, Wang Feng suddenly saw a small cave in front of them. Almost without hesitation, Wang Feng threw Qian Rinxue in. "It's useless. The dragon beetle can sense us." However, Wang Feng did not speak. The cave was dark and Qian Rinxue could not see clearly, but she knew that Wang Feng was also in. "Catch me," Wang Feng said in a low voice. Qian Rinxue was stunned and could only hold on to his shoulder. At this moment, a bone-like crown suddenly appeared on Wang Feng's head, faintly glowing. Then, the aura of the two seemed to have merged into the darkness and disappeared. Roar, roar, roar. At this moment, the dragon beetle's violent roar came from outside. It seemed to be angry. Why did its prey disappear? It had chased them all the way here, but its aura disappeared? It seemed to be a little unwilling, and this blood-red dragon beetle kept roaring in the sky. Qian Rinxue's heart was pounding, and she was a little confused. It seemed that the dragon beetle's aura that locked onto us disappeared? How did it do that? After a while, the roar slowly disappeared. Seeing this, Qian Rinxue suddenly heaved a sigh of relief. Wang Feng's eyes were slightly fixed on the front, and he thought to himself, that was too dangerous. Because just now, ding! Congratulations to the host for successfully carding. You have received a mysterious soul bone. Please feel it yourself. The host has a 30,000-year soul ring. You have received an additional reward. The soul ring's age has increased to 2,000 years. Please choose. Ding. The next carding location is the Pope's Palace. There are no requirements, but there are additional rewards. After more than a year, finally, the sound of carding was heard. And this time, he received a mysterious soul bone from the system. It was the skull soul bone that was attached to Wang Feng's head just now. At the moment when he received it, Wang Feng did not know its other functions, but he knew one thing. It could conceal one's aura. The system's products were all high quality, and Wang Feng did not doubt it. He did not expect to be given a skull soul bone this time. The skull soul bone was the rarest apart from the external soul bone and the torso bone. This soul bone was a little like Sun Wukong's golden band incantation. It looked a little strange on the head, and it was black. In the darkness, it was hard to tell. End of this chapter. Chapter 280. The moment it appeared, Wang Feng immediately used it to shield his and the Qian Rinxue's auras. It seemed like he could shield himself as long as he came into contact with it. However, it drained a lot of his spiritual power. Both of them seemed to be covered by a transparent energy cloak. It was this energy cloak that blocked the dragon beetle's aura. Wang Feng heaved a sigh of relief. I'll study this soul bone when I'm fully recovered. I'll take my revenge on this dragon beetle then. Both of them didn't speak in the pitch-black cave. They could only hear each other's heartbeats. Wang Feng's dark humanoid martial soul was also deactivated. A 60,000-year soul beast was extremely ferocious. Wang Feng didn't expect to be hunted down by such a ferocious soul beast. It seems like I should use this dark angel martial soul less. Furthermore, I feel like this martial soul needs special nourishment to improve. Wang Fengxin thought to himself. He was a little fearful of this dark angel martial soul. It was too easy to lose one's rationality when faced with such a cold and evil attack. The demonic aura of the soul-slaying spear was already very troublesome. Now there was the dark angel martial soul. Although it was very cool and powerful, it was very troublesome. Actually, the soul-slaying spear was still fine. After a long while, the Qian Rinxue seemed to regain her senses. Vaguely, Wang Feng could smell a faint fragrance coming from Qianrenxue, but he did not know if it came from her. Wang Feng didn't say much. After he hid the skull, he took out a bunch of things from his soul tool, including flint and combustible materials. Not long after, the fire lit up in the cave. Wang Feng also saw the Qianrenxue. The swollen areas on her body seemed to have recovered. Evidently, her martial soul's recovery ability wasn't bad. In addition, Wang Feng didn't hit her too hard, so she recovered very quickly. However, her face was a little pale. Her hair was also a little loose. However, because she was dressed as a man, she looked a little weird. Wang Feng didn't know if she had used some special method to change her appearance. Was this her original appearance? We'll rest for a day. Tomorrow, we'll go our separate ways, Wang Feng said casually. Qianrenxue stared at Wang Feng. No matter how fast Wang Feng had run, his mask was still on. The terrifying dark angel martial soul also disappeared, and she returned to her normal size. In the dim light of the fire, Qianrenxue could only see the general shape of his opponent. He was a little smaller than when he was possessed by the martial soul. How did you do it just now? You blocked the dragon beetle's senses? Qianrenxue suddenly asked. Wang Feng glanced at her but did not answer. How could he possibly tell Qianrenxue about the skull? You should be thankful that it saved your life. Moreover, he did not have the time to examine it carefully, and he did not want to reveal his skull in front of Qianrenxue. At this moment there was still a bonfire. It was very obvious that they could see it clearly. Qianrenxue didn't ask further since Wang Feng didn't want to talk about it. My surname is Xue. My name is Xuerenqian. What's your name? Wang Feng thought for a while and replied with a hoarse voice. My name is Feng Yuxiu. Qianrenxue muttered a few words. He didn't find it strange. It was a very normal name. Why did you save me? Qianrenxue stared at Wang Feng. Because I didn't want to kill you, Wang Feng said. Qianrenxue was stunned for a moment. I know you didn't want to kill me, but what does that have to do with you saving me? Your martial soul is special. If you were eaten by this soul beast, it would mutate and become stronger. I'm afraid I wouldn't even have a chance to escape. Seeing that Qianrenxue was stunned, Wang Feng started to talk nonsense. That makes sense. I forgot about that. However, Qianrenxue nodded. Wang Feng. No matter what, I still have to thank you. You saved my life. I'll remember it. Qianrenxue said. Oh yes, you'd better not release your martial soul casually in the future. Otherwise, it will cause a lot of trouble. Dark Angel Martial Soul? If he released it outside, the Martial Soul Hall would definitely catch him first. The Martial Soul Hall's Grand Elder, Dalu, had a six-winged angel martial soul. The Qian family could be said to have inherited the angel martial soul. If such an evil and dark martial soul appeared, the Martial Soul Hall would definitely catch him, and then. However, Qianrenxue could feel that even though her opponent's dark angel martial soul could restrain her, there was also a special force that was attracting her. Wang Feng didn't answer. He knew that even if Qianrenxue didn't say it. At this moment, there was a sudden rumbling sound. It was the sound of a hungry stomach. Qianrenxue blushed. Is there no food in your soul tool? Wang Feng asked. The food is with my subordinate. Qianrenxue shook his head. I don't have much food in my soul tool. I didn't expect you to be a young master. Wang Feng's voice was hoarse as he laughed. As he spoke, he took out the dry rations prepared by his soul tool and passed them to Qianrenxue. Qianrenxue took them, but didn't eat them. Why do you suspect it's poisonous? Wang Feng shook his head and ate them. The dry rations were meat patties. They could be eaten after being roasted over the fire. Seeing this, Qianrenxue ate them in small bites. As someone who often came to the Great Star Do Forest to fight soul beasts, Wang Feng naturally prepared all kinds of dry rations. That dragon beetle should still be nearby. We have to stay in this cave for a day or two. Wang Feng said casually. He planned to recover and recharge his energy. After leaving with Qian Rinxue tomorrow, he would go and fight that dragon beetle. Okay. Qian Rinxue didn't say much either. After eating, Wang Feng looked around. This cave wasn't big. It should be the habitat of some small soul beast, but it should be dead. There were only a few bones on the ground, and some weathered excrement. Looking at this excrement, it should be the nest of a goldbiter rat. But it should be dead, killed by other soul beasts. Wang Feng looked around and said, "This kind of weak soul beast's nest won't attract powerful soul beasts for the time being." His understanding of soul beasts was not inferior to that of a master, or even better. After all, he was fighting soul beasts for real, not just theory. "You know a lot. Have you always lived here?" Qian Rinxue asked curiously. She remembered that the last time she sensed the aura of his martial soul, it seemed to be in the great star Do forest. "Why are you asking so many questions?" Wang Feng chuckled. "Why should I tell you? Forget it if you don't want to say." Qian Rinxue wasn't angry and shook his head lightly. After eating, the two of them did their own things. Qian Rinxue didn't have much soul power left, so he closed his eyes and began to meditate to recover. Wang Feng began to sense the information of the skull. He used it in a hurry just now. Just by sensing it a little, Wang Feng felt a terrifying spiritual power gushing out of the skull and instantly attacking his spirit. "This skull, I'm afraid it's not simple." Wang Feng was slightly surprised. Generally, soul bones came with skills. Wang Feng had used the first skill of this skull just now. It was similar to concealing one's aura. It could even conceal the aura of a 60,000-year soul beast, which meant that it could completely conceal the aura of a soul Douluo. The key was that it could conceal not only its own aura, but also others. End of chapter. Chapter 281. Speaking of which, if my whole body is tempered with red lotus karmic fire, I should be able to achieve this effect, right? But I can't help others. Wang Feng thought for a while and named this first soul skill, Mist Concealment, because when it was used, the whole body would be enveloped in a layer of faint energy light mist. And the second soul skill, Wang Feng also felt it. To have a second soul skill, it meant that this skull was at least 100,000 years old. The second soul skill was Perception. To be more precise, it was to perceive the opponent's martial soul, soul ring, and strength. "Wait, this skull doesn't look like a soul beast from the Douluo world," Wang Feng murmured. The skull looked a little like the golden hoop incantation, but in the middle there were two sharp tentacles. It looked even better, and it was slightly bigger. It looked more like a crown. The system was too mysterious. He had to study the things given by himself. But it was also quite interesting. Wang Fengxin thought, and the skull slowly appeared. He stared at the Qian Rinxue in an instant. A series of information appeared in his mind. Martial soul. 6-winged angel martial soul. Soul rings. Double yellow, double purple, 1 black. Level 60. The seemingly simple information made Wang Feng's eyes flash. Because Wang Feng could vaguely feel that the second soul skill seemed to be able to see the opponent's soul skill. But because his spiritual power was not strong enough, the degree of information was dependent on his spiritual power and the gap in soul power level. It was also at this time. The Qian Rinxue opened her eyes. Seeing this, Wang Feng quickly hid the soul bone. The Qian Rinxue looked at Wang Feng and frowned. "You looked at me just now?" No, you looked, I felt it." Hearing this, Wang Feng thought to himself, it seems that the gap in level is easy to be noticed by the opponent. Thinking about it, I'm level 40 and she's level 60, it's normal for her to be a little aware. "You didn't look at me, how did you know I was looking at you?" Wang Feng didn't want to admit it. "Don't interrupt," the Qian Rinxue said lightly. "Did you have any intentions just now?" The feeling of being seen through by the opponent, the Qian Rinxue rarely felt. Even a soul Douluo wouldn't be able to see through her disguise. But just now, Qian Rinxue had the illusion that he had been seen through. This was not something that could be done with just a few glances. "You're a man. What could I possibly want from you?" Wang Feng sneered. Qian Rinxue fell silent. "That seems to be the case. He doesn't know my identity, nor does he know my disguise. To be more precise, he has never seen me before. What could he possibly want from me? Could it be that it was an illusion just now?" Qian Rinxue was not thinking about it. At this moment, night fell. Wang Feng took out some bedding from his soul tool that he would use in the wilderness. The inside of the cave was full of bumps and hollows, and it was very uncomfortable. Wang Feng's mental state was a little fatigued from the various emotions he had experienced the day before. The main reason was that the impact from the two martial spirits was too strong. Even Wang Feng could not stand it anymore. He thought to himself that he would take a good night's sleep and recover before going to look for the dragon beetle tomorrow. Qian Rinxue watched from the side. She thought to herself, "Dream Shinji and the other two should be looking for me right now, right? The three of them should not have died. They should have only blocked the dragon beetle for a while." Tired? Wang Feng glanced at Qian Rinxue. Naturally, he could see the fatigue on her face. Speaking of which, Qian Rinxue had been on the road for a whole day. Then, she was beaten up so badly that she had no energy left. Then, she had to run for a while. Her mental fluctuations were no less than his. "Are you going to give it to me?" Qian Rinxue looked at the clean bedding that Wang Feng had laid out and asked softly. She also wanted to sleep now. "In your dreams. Go sleep on a rock. I don't have such a good relationship with you," Wang Feng said angrily. Qian Rinxue raised her eyebrows. However, the calmness that she had cultivated over the years prevented her from getting angry. She had no right to be angry. Touching the cold rock, Qian Rinxue spread some licorice and lay down. She glanced at Feng Yuxiu from the corner of her eyes and realized that he had fallen asleep. This person is too mysterious. Qian Rinxue thought carefully about what had happened today. Looking at the situation, he seemed to have twin martial souls. He had no soul rings and his rank was a mystery. But he could completely suppress her. After being beaten up, Qian Rinxue had nothing to say because she was the one who attacked first. But she did not expect that he would be able to escape with her from the mouth of the blood-winged dragon beetle. Could it be a soul skill that blocked the aura at the end? Why didn't he use it earlier? What kind of soul skill can block the aura of a 60,000-year soul beast? Qian Rinxue thought to herself. She was very smart, but at this moment, she felt that the man who was only 2 hands away from her was extremely mysterious. This should be the first time I've slept so close to a man, and a complete stranger on top of that. Qian Rinxue had a different thought in her mind. Thinking about it, she felt that it was ridiculous, but it happened. Fortunately, the other party did not know that she was a woman. Although she spread the licorice, these bumpy rocks made Qian Rinxue a little uncomfortable. But Qian Rinxue only frowned slightly, and did not say anything. The fire that was still emitting residual heat was slowly extinguished, and the temperature was gradually getting cold. Qian Rinxue did not feel cold, but her heart was slightly cold. Tomorrow morning, I hope that the dragon beetle disappeared from the vicinity. Qian Rinxue slowly closed her eyes. At this moment, Wang Feng suddenly stood up and said in a deep voice, "I thought about it. This is the depths of the forest. Although this cave is very hidden, if both of us sleep, it is easy to be attacked by soul beasts. You sleep with me first, I will keep watch for a while. 3 hours later, I will wake you up and you will keep watch. I will sleep." After saying that, Wang Feng walked out of the cave. Hearing this, Qian Rinxue opened her eyes and was startled. However, Qian Rinxue admired the other party's vigilance and steadiness. After thinking for a while, Qian Rinxue walked to the bedding that Wang Feng had prepared. Suddenly, her face became slightly rosy. Because the bedding had a trace of warmth, it was obviously left by Wang Feng. After lying down, Qian Rinxue heaved a sigh of relief. It was so much more comfortable with bedding. Soon, Qian Rinxue fell into a deep sleep. On the third day, when Qian Rinxue woke up, she found that the sky was already bright. Seeing this, Qian Rinxue was startled and suddenly stood up. Feng Yuxiu? She called out softly. The cave was already somewhat bright, but there was still no response. He left? Qian Rinxue was startled. He didn't wake me up? He just left? Suddenly, Qian Rinxue felt slightly disappointed and immediately shook her head. At this moment, a figure walked in from outside. You're awake? The person who came was Wang Feng. He glanced at Qian Rinxue and could not help but scold. Why did you sleep like a pig? I couldn't even wake you up last night. You made me meditate outside for an entire night. Wang Feng walked in with a roasted rabbit in his hand. Qian Rinxue looked at Wang Feng and suddenly felt a little awkward. She thought to herself, did I sleep very deeply last night? He didn't even wake me up? Wang Feng walked over and placed the rabbit in front of Qian Rinxue, saying calmly, eat this. Let's eat. After eating, we can leave for the time being. Qian Rinxue looked at the rabbit and frowned. I'm only a vegetarian. This rabbit, but before she could finish her sentence. If you don't want to eat it, I'll throw it away. You talk too much. Wang Feng's hoarse voice interrupted her directly. He did not care about her at all. Qian Rinxue thought for a while and ate it. While eating, Qian Rinxue looked at Wang Feng and found that Wang Feng was full of energy and did not look like he did not rest for the entire night. She could not help but feel a little surprised. But she did not know that Wang Feng had been studying the skull for the entire night when he was on guard duty last night. The more he studied, the more energetic he became. This was because the effect of this skull soul bone was much greater than Wang Feng had imagined. In addition to the two soul skills, it also provided an extremely strong spiritual boost and a strong spiritual recovery ability. By the way, what are you going to do later? Qian Rinxue glanced at Wang Feng. Although he still could not see the rabbit's face, it was inexplicably more pleasing to the eye. This roasted rabbit was also more delicious than he had imagined. Hunting soul beasts. Wang Feng said calmly. What kind of soul beasts are you going to hunt? Why don't we go together? I happen to want to hunt one too. Qian Rinxue's eyes lit up slightly. However, Wang Feng's words made Qian Rinxue stunned. I want to hunt blood-winged dragon beetles. Are you sure you want to go together? End of 10 chapters. This chapter ends. Chapter 282. P.S. The ending of the previous chapter was slightly changed, but the title of the chapter could not be changed, so it was left unchanged. Wang Feng didn't intend to tell Qian Rinxue about hunting the blood-winged dragon beetle. He couldn't possibly hunt the blood-winged dragon beetle with Qian Rinxue, or any other soul beasts, and expose himself. After the meal, the two of them parted ways. When Qian Rinxue heard Wang Feng's words, she knew that he was going to hunt soul beasts and was unwilling to tell her. She did not ask further. Where's my blanket? Wang Feng walked over and was about to keep the blanket. However, he realized that Qian Rinxue had already put it away. Why? I saved your life and you ate my meal. You even want my blanket? Wang Feng snorted coldly. I've already slept on this blanket. Qian Rinxue's indifferent tone made Wang Feng feel that something was amiss. But at this point, Qian Rinxue added another sentence. Give it to me? Wang Feng laughed strangely and said, Take it if you want it. Qian Rinxue probably thought that she had already slept on it and that it had her scent on it, so she did not want to give it to anyone else. After speaking, Wang Feng walked out of the cave. Just as he was about to leave, Qian Rinxue suddenly spoke. Feng Yuxiu, I will remember your kindness for saving my life. You should forget about it. Wang Feng disappeared from Qian Rinxue's sight. Qian Rinxue was stunned. Suddenly, she smiled. Fortunately, Wang Feng was not here. If he was, he would be surprised by Qian Rinxue's smile. She really did look like the #1 beauty. Qian Rinxue touched the bedding and folded it neatly before storing it into her soul tool. She walked out of the cave and felt the sun shining brightly. The air was fresh and refreshing. She was in a good mood. Not long later, Qian Rinxue found the 3-titled Douluo as she walked. Your Highness, it's all our fault. Fortunately, you're fine. We spent the entire night looking for you. We thought you, when the Dream God machine saw the Qian Rinxue, it was shocked. Yesterday, they had only managed to hold off the blood-winged dragon beast for a short period of time. Because if they continued to resist, their lives would be in danger. In addition, His Highness had also left, so they directly retreated. However, there was no trace of His Highness, which really gave them a fright. After searching for most of the night, they still couldn't find any traces of it. They were also afraid of disturbing the other exotic devil beasts in the Great Star Do Forest, so they didn't go too deep into the forest to search. They planned to continue searching after daybreak. Unexpectedly, His Highness came back directly. I'm fine. Qian Rinxue waved his hand and glanced at him. Let's go and find a suitable soul beast before returning to Heaven Do City. He didn't find any traces of Wang Feng on this trip, but it didn't matter. After all, it was fine as long as he could obtain his 6th soul ring. Meanwhile, Wang Feng used the skull to sense the aura around him. Coupled with the Shadowmist's soul skill in the soul bone, he could almost silently approach many 10,000-year soul beasts. It was as if he was invisible. This skull was indeed powerful. The Shadowmist's soul skill could conceal one's entire body. This concealment wasn't one with heaven and earth, but completely disappeared. Even 20 to 30,000-year soul beasts wouldn't be able to sense him unless he was within 5 meters of them. But 5 meters was short? Wang Feng could directly cause a lot of damage to his opponent with a single step. It was negligible. Along the way, Wang Feng tested many soul beasts, and they were all the same. Furthermore, the second soul skill of the soul bone, sense, could clearly sense the age of these soul beasts. Even if he didn't activate his Dark Angel, he could still sense soul beasts within a few thousand meters. If it was a dangerous soul beast, Wang Feng could immediately sense it and leave. With this skull, my safety will be greatly increased in the future. Wang Feng took a deep breath. This skull doesn't have a name yet. I'll just name it myself. How about I call it the Black Band Spiritual Skull? This name wasn't too fancy. Black band referred to the skull's black color, the golden band referred to its resemblance to the golden band incantation, and the spiritual skull referred to the fact that this skull could provide Wang Feng with an endless stream of spiritual power, allowing him to remain clear-headed at all times. With this skull, Wang Feng was like a fish in water in the Great Star Do Forest. He could sense the presence of the dragon beetle on one hand, and he could also sense the nearby powerful devilish beasts on the other. Not long after, Wang Feng sensed the dragon beetle. Its mountainous body seemed to be taking a nap in front of him. It was the size of 2 basketball courts, and it wasn't inferior to Erming in terms of size. Even though it was taking a nap, it still exuded an extremely terrifying aura. It was inhaling and exhaling bursts of blood mist, and the wings on its back would occasionally flap, leaving streaks of crimson afterimages in the air. In reality, it was very easy to find this blood-winged dragon beetle. This was because there wasn't a single soul beast within a kilometer of this extremely ferocious soul beast. It wasn't like the sky azure bull python or the titan giant ape, who were milder and didn't engage in wanton slaughter. Soul beasts were the same as humans. There were good and bad soul beasts. Furthermore, this blood-winged dragon beetle's temperament couldn't be tamed. Wang Feng took a deep breath. He was still several hundred meters away from this blood-winged dragon beetle. Even though he used Shadowmist to conceal his aura, he didn't dare to get too close. Deification. Wang Feng's golden lotus spun as he secretly used deification on himself. Thorny lotus. Wang Feng's black lotus spun as he increased his defensive power by another level. Once he used these two soul skills, an aura that could be seen with the naked eye was immediately released from Wang Feng's body. Wang Feng didn't intend to use any other soul skills to harass this blood-winged dragon beetle. The reason was very simple: it was a waste of soul power. Even if he could injure this blood-winged dragon beetle, it wouldn't be fatal. Instead, it would be a waste of soul power. At this moment, Wang Feng naturally had to maximize the utilization of his soul power. All of it was used on the Pangu axe. Even his dark angel martial soul was useless. Rank 40 soul power. At this moment, the Black Lotus didn't have any soul power reserves, so it should be able to activate the Pangu axe. Wang Feng, whose entire body was shining with a golden light but was covered in a layer of white mist, stared coldly at the blood-winged dragon beetle in front of him. 3 pitch-black soul rings flickered on his body. Yes, his first soul ring had also been upgraded to a 1,000-year soul ring. The system's additional reward was an increase of 2,000 years, which happened to upgrade his first soul ring to a 10,000-year soul ring. Wang Feng upgraded his first soul ring to a 10,000-year soul ring last night when Qianrenxue was resting. This was also the reason why he wanted to keep watch at night. Otherwise, it would be easy to attract attention. As for the upgrade effect, other than increasing his physical strength, the biggest was naturally the upgrade of his soul skills. His current deification soul skill increased all his attributes by 4 times. Other than the previous various effects such as immunity to poison, pain, and attack with additional paralysis effect, there was also an additional effect: immunity to all conditions. Simply put, he wasn't controlled by any soul skills now, nor was he intimidated by any aura. It could be considered the complete body of a deification soul skill. Wang Feng reckoned that if he upgraded it further, this soul skill might even be able to avoid death. At that time, when combined with the meteoric tear, he would probably be an unkillable cockroach. Fortunately, each of my forms is independent and my soul rings can be revealed separately. Otherwise, a full black soul ring before the age of 14, Wang Feng thought to himself, I'm afraid that I'll be captured by the major forces of the continent for research. In theory, it wasn't impossible to have a full black soul ring, but it seemed that it would only be possible to have one in the later stages of the divine exam. All right. Wang Feng took a few deep breaths. With the deification soul skill, even if this was a 100,000-year soul beast, it wouldn't be able to suppress him with its aura. Then, Wang Feng turned his palm and held his breath. The Pangu axe in his other hand quietly appeared. Pangu axe. End of this chapter. Chapter 283. His soul force was like a myriad of streams returning to the sea, and it surged madly into this seemingly ordinary axe. In the next moment, an extremely bright pillar of light shot into the clouds from Wang Feng's body. The originally bright sky was suddenly covered by dark clouds after this pillar of light. Lightning flashed. The lightning that streaked across the sky seemed like it was going to split the sky open. A hurricane-like shockwave spread in all directions with Wang Feng at the center. Instantly, the surrounding trees were uprooted. His black robe and mask were completely shattered. His originally sparkling and translucent skin and jade-like bones were now filled with the terrifying power of Pangu's axe, as if they were filled with blood. Countless blood patterns spread all over Wang Feng's body. This was because the blood vessels in his skin couldn't withstand this strength. This was why they appeared on the surface of his skin. Even his face was covered with all sorts of small blood vessels. Fortunately, this time, his body didn't explode inch by inch like last time. His consciousness was even clearer. His black hoop spiritual skull appeared, causing Wang Feng's consciousness to be muddled by the strength of the Pangu axe. On the contrary, Wang Feng could feel the strength of the Pangu axe. Clear, strong, invincible. After being tempered by the karmic fire of the Red Lotus, his spiritual soul and skull were far stronger than when he used the Pangu axe. This meant that he could accurately unleash the strength of the Pangu axe. As he looked at the Pangu axe that was about to take form, Wang Feng's eyes flashed with a burning desire. At this moment, the blood-winged dragon beetle that was taking a nap was naturally awakened by this aura. Furthermore, Wang Feng's Shadowma's soul skill could no longer conceal Wang Feng's aura. The aura of the Pangu axe was too frightening. It couldn't be concealed. Similarly, the blood-winged dragon beetle saw where Wang Feng was at the first moment. It roared furiously and attacked Wang Feng. At this moment, the Pangu axe martial soul had been formed. It had become a real axe. When the axe landed gently in Wang Feng's hand, boom, boom, boom. In the next moment, the pillar of light on Wang Feng's body expanded by several times. An aura that caused all living beings to feel fear covered the entire great Star Do forest from the pillar of light. Countless soul beasts whimpered as if they were on a pilgrimage as they looked at the pillar of light. Even the soul beasts that had lived for tens of thousands of years howled in the direction of the pillar of light. Their howls were filled with fear and dread. After a year, Wang Feng once again condensed the Pangu axe. The moment he held it in his hand, an aura that seemed to be able to split the heavens, the sun and the moon and shatter the mountains and rivers violently emitted from his body. The spontaneous airflow caused Wang Feng's hair to flutter wildly, adding to his cold and wild aura. Looking at the incoming blood-winged dragon beetle, Wang Feng remained expressionless. Then, he stomped his foot, and the ground cracked inch by inch. His entire body was like a blood-colored thunderbolt. With a beam of light, he swung his axe towards the incoming blood-winged dragon beetle with the momentum of splitting Mount Hua. Bolts of lightning struck down from the sky along with the pillar of light, illuminating the horizon, as if they were also afraid of this terrifying power. The axe seemed to split open the heavens and earth. A terrifying wave of air blew in all directions from mid-air. From afar, it was as if a blood-colored ball of light was flashing like lightning, rising and then falling. Roar! The blood-winged dragon beetle let out a furious roar with some fear. At this moment, the aura on Wang Feng's body and the aura brought about by the axe made it feel incomparably terrified. However, this roar did not stop Wang Feng. Seeing this, the blood-winged dragon beetle directly spat out 2 pillars of blood from its mouth, directly hitting Wang Feng's body. His blood pillars were extremely lethal to soul masters. Once removed, they would instantly go crazy and lose their consciousness until they died of exhaustion, allowing the blood-winged dragon beetle to absorb their strength. Immediately after, the stone armor engraved with countless patterns on his back quickly closed, forming a flawless armor. The blood-winged dragon beetle's attack, defense, and speed were not bad. The blood wings on his back also began to emit an intense light. This light could affect the surrounding area, causing the enemy to feel as if they had fallen into a quagmire and their speed was greatly reduced. After doing all this, Wang Feng was not obstructed at all. The blood pillars that sprayed on his body did not gush out at all. The light formed by the blood wings was also unable to stop Wang Feng. Wang Feng's axe struck down with lightning speed, landing directly on the back of the blood-winged dragon beetle. Because the blood-winged dragon beetle's body was too large, even if Wang Feng's aura was astonishing, the axe landing on the back of the blood-winged dragon beetle looked like a basketball landing on a basketball court. However, at the moment when the axe landed, crack, 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 the ground where the blood-winged dragon beetle was on seemed to be pressed down by a few hundred tons of heavy objects, causing countless cracks to appear in all directions. Its huge body was also rapidly sinking. As for the stone armor on his back, it was almost instantly shattered. Although the blood-winged dragon beetle's defense was very strong, It was not as strong as the Thorn Xuanwu turtle's defense from before. This was because the Thorn Xuanwu turtle was famous for its defense. Right now, Wang Feng was rank 40, so his strength was naturally many times stronger than when he was rank 30. After this axe strike, Wang Feng's body only bled a little. It was not like the previous time, when he was directly shaken and almost all the bones in his body were broken. However, this axe strike only broke the defense on the back of the blood-winged dragon beetle. It seems like this axe strike is not enough. At this moment, Wang Feng's entire body was surrounded by waves of aura as he pulled out the Pangu axe. He felt that there was not much strength left in his body and was stunned. Then let's do it again. After all, this was a 60,000-year blood-winged dragon beetle. Even with his rank 40 strength, it was not possible for him to kill it with a single axe strike. Its life force was too strong. If it was a 30,000-year Thorn Xuanwu turtle, this axe strike would have killed it. However, Wang Feng still had some strength left. His rank 40 soul power, his divinized soul skill, his physique after being tempered by the karmic fire of the Red Lotus, and his skull gave him an extremely calm state. This allowed Wang Feng to clearly feel that he still had the strength to do it again. Roar! At this moment, the blood-winged dragon beetle's back was shattered, and it let out an extremely indignant roar. It suddenly spoke in human language, and let out an extremely angry voice. "Human, who are you? I've lived for so many years, and I've never seen such a ridiculous martial soul among humans. You're so weak that you can hurt me." Its voice was very awkward, and sounded like a foreigner speaking Mandarin. Evidently, it was not the kind that spoke in human language often. Yes, it had lived for 60,000 years, and had killed many soul masters and soul beasts in the great Star Do forest. It had never seen such a ridiculous martial soul before. This human's rank was not very high, but he was able to inflict such terrifying damage on it. Unless he was a titled Douluo, even those powerful soul Douluo might not be able to inflict such ridiculous damage on it. Wang Feng could not be bothered to reply. He gathered all his strength and leapt high into the air once again. His axe struck down. This time, as he had overdrawn his strength, his bones let out a crisp sound. When he struck down, he was like a hunting bow that had been fully drawn. The axe landed on the blood-winged dragon beetle, which was not protected by its stone shell. End of chapter. Chapter 284. The flesh and blood under its shell was directly split into a spider web, and the exploding flesh and blood crazily split open. Wang Feng landed on the ground as well. 2 axes is still a little strenuous. If I were at rank 60, I would be able to kill this beetle with just 1 axe strike. Wang Feng threw up a mouthful of blood, and the Pangu axe in his hand instantly disappeared. This blood-winged dragon beetle wasn't an ordinary 60,000-year soul beast. It was extremely ferocious, and it was only slightly weaker than Ming. Even Douluo wouldn't be able to kill this beetle in 10 attacks, let alone 2. However, Douluo specialized in group attacks, not single-target attack. Furthermore, the Pangu axe was also a factor in the beetle's fear, and its power was reduced by 20%. Wang Feng lay on the ground and panted heavily. This was his second time using the Pangu axe, and he had already gotten used to it. After using 2 axes, Wang Feng's injuries were a lot less severe than the last time. Furthermore, the meteoric tear was also surging with energy to quickly repair his injuries. However, his body was too powerful, so the meteoric tear's repair speed was slightly slower than before. Just as Wang Feng was recovering. In the distance, Qian Renxue and the others were in the process of killing a 20,000-year wild flame heavenly tiger. To put it more accurately, they were all stunned when that pillar of light lit up. "What's that?" Qian Renxue stared at the pillar of light in the distance. "It's a powerful being." Dream Shinji looked on with shock and horror. "It's definitely a powerful being. No, this aura is far too terrifying. Even a titled Douluo doesn't have such an aura. The other two titled Douluo were also astonished as they watched. Even the sword Douluo had been stunned by this aura, and he had thought that a god had descended to the mortal world. At this moment, the three soul Douluos were naturally even more astonished. Your Highness, look! That wild flame heavenly tiger is lying on the ground. Its eyes are filled with horror. Ji Lin pointed at the struggling wild flame heavenly tiger that had been bound by his sky azure vine, but it instantly collapsed after the pillar of light's aura dissipated. Qian Renxue was also horrified. She could clearly sense that this wild flame heavenly tiger was even more terrified than the one that had encountered Feng Yuxiu. What other terrifying existences exist in the great star Do forest? Bai Baoshan muttered. Even I feel incomparably fearful. What exactly is that thing? As the light pillar in the center grew brighter and brighter, a blood-colored ball of light suddenly appeared in the air. One could vaguely see a human figure within it. However, it was too far away for the three of them to see clearly. However, the shock waves that came in half a year could affect them here. Don't worry about it for now. Protect me while I kill this wild flame heaven howling tiger and absorb its soul ring. Qian Renxue said calmly, this is the best opportunity. The soul beasts nearby won't come and cause trouble. The three of them nodded repeatedly. This was indeed the best opportunity. At the center of the great star Do forest. Can you feel it, Erming? The heaven azure bull python's enormous body suddenly appeared in the middle of the sparkling, pure lake. By the lakeside, the titan giant ape was combing its fur. It's that aura again. It seems to have become a lot more powerful during the past year. What do you think, Erming? I feel the same, Erming chimed in. The heaven azure bull python glared at him and said, Go and take a look. Xiaowu hasn't been back for over a year. I wonder if she's in danger. His friends don't seem to have come to the great star Do forest, either. Alright, big brother, I'll go and take a look after I finish combing my fur. Xiaowu isn't here, so I have to do it myself, Erming said. The heaven azure bull python was silent for a moment before asking, If you finish combing your fur now, won't you be messing it up again? Why don't we check it out first, save the messy hair, and come back to comb it? You're so smart, big brother. Why didn't I think of that? Erming's eyes lit up, and he immediately messed up his fur. We'll do it together when I come back. Big brother, I'm going to take a look. Erming strode out as he spoke. Remember, don't get too close. The heaven azure bull python's voice rang out. Wang Feng rested for a while. His meteoric tear's regenerative abilities were quite powerful. As long as he was given enough time, he would be able to recover no matter how severe his injuries were. After a while, Wang Feng rose to his feet and made his way toward the bloodwing dragon beetle. His inky black soul rings were emanating dazzling light and a faint, intimidating aura. However, Wang Feng didn't absorb them. Red face karmic fire. Wang Feng spun around, and the red lotus of karmic fire released scorching red light. Go! After recovering some of his soul power, Wang Feng activated the karmic fire within the red lotus, which transformed into a series of fiery waterfalls that burned the bloodwing dragon beetle's body. This bloodwing dragon beetle was extremely ferocious, and even though it was dead, its soul would most likely be extremely ferocious. Wang Feng was a little worried that he would absorb it directly. In order to be safe, Wang Feng decided to use his karmic fire to burn it first. He hadn't thought of this before, and it only occurred to him later when his red lotus also began to refine his soul. Would it be easier for him to absorb the souls of these soul beasts if he used his karmic fire to burn them? Would it be easier for him to absorb the ferocious souls of these soul beasts after refining them a little? The karmic fire slowly burned on the bloodwing dragon beetle's body. Wang Feng seemed to be able to vaguely hear the howls of the sinister winds, as if the bloodwing dragon beetle was crying out in pain. This blood-winged dragon beetle was too large, and the karmic fire couldn't cover it quickly. However, this karmic fire could directly burn its soul. Wang Feng didn't hesitate anymore. He sat down cross-legged and guided his soul power to absorb the blood-winged dragon beetle's soul ring. The inky black soul ring entered Wang Feng's body from the blood-winged dragon beetle's body. A huge amount of soul power gathered from the soul ring and surged into Wang Feng's body. As soon as the soul power entered, Wang Feng was inwardly delighted. It seemed like he was right to be direct. After being burned by the karmic fire, the soul of the blood-winged dragon beetle was much weaker. The soul power in this soul ring didn't have much of a ferocious aura. At the very least, it wouldn't destroy his spiritual soul in an instant. It was also enough for his Black Lotus and Dark Angel to absorb a little. Wang Feng first controlled his Black Lotus to absorb the remnant soul consciousness of the blood-winged dragon beetle in this soul ring. After absorbing and charging, Wang Feng summoned his Dark Angel again and continued to absorb the remnant soul consciousness in this soul ring. Wang Feng could vaguely feel that the first pair of wings on the back of his Dark Angel had become much brighter. Next, Wang Feng began to officially absorb the energy of the soul ring. Boundless soul power rushed around in his body. Fortunately, the meteoric tear was also effective at this moment. In addition to this huge amount of soul power, as the soul of the blood-winged dragon beetle had been burned by the karmic fire of the blood-winged dragon beetle, and his spiritual power was enhanced by the skull, Wang Feng was actually able to control this huge amount of soul power. Furthermore, Wang Feng's current physique was comparable to that of a rank 70 soul warrior. Hence, it was much easier for him to absorb this soul power than before. It had to be said that the Red Lotus also had the benefits of tempering one's body. End of chapter. Chapter 285. Under such conditions, Wang Feng's absorption was rather smooth. After this huge amount of energy circulated, his body became tougher and clearer. The green lotus in his sea of consciousness also slowly bloomed. Most of the energy in the soul ring quickly flowed into the rhizome. The rhizome turned into the god-slaying spear and slowly absorbed this terrifying energy. Gradually, the blunt-looking spear blade became cold and sharp. The ancient patterns on the body of the spear also gave off a faint glow. When most of the soul ring's energy was absorbed, the god-devouring spear started to change. The blade and body of the spear seemed to have been reforged and turned into a real god-slaying spear. The pitch-black soul ring revolved around the god-slaying spear and carried a ferocious aura. It was perfectly compatible with the god-slaying spear. The body of the spear was surrounded by purplish-black demonic aura. The entire spear exuded an extremely ferocious aura. Compared to the simple and unadorned look before, it was more like a sharp blade with a ferocious aura now. Those who were timid would probably faint with just one look. How much of an improvement would it be? The remaining small amount of soul power was absorbed by Wang Feng to increase his soul power. His rank soared. Wang Feng felt that it was about to reach rank 44 before it gradually stopped. F***ck, why is it at this rank? Wang Feng opened his eyes and couldn't help but shake his head. This number is too unlucky. However, he had to admit that this 60,000-year soul ring's energy was indeed huge. Most of it was absorbed by the god-slaying spear and matured. A small portion was absorbed by him and he rose by 4 rank. It was quite normal. Who would absorb a 60,000-year soul ring at rank 40? Normal rank 70 soul masters could only absorb 50,000-year soul rings when they broke through. With Wang Feng's current speed of compressing and purifying his soul power, he could rise by 4 ranks after absorbing a small portion. One could imagine how crazy the 60,000-year soul ring was. Soul ring appear. Wang Feng suddenly opened his eyes. The sharp light in his eyes seemed to have solidified and flashed past. After obtaining a 60,000-year soul ring and increasing his rank, he had improved in all aspects. All his previous forms had been improved. The god-slaying spear's transformation was naturally the greatest. This was because when it first took form, the god-slaying spear was like a newborn and hadn't been forged. Now that it had matured, it had been forged. A cold light was revealed. 4 pitch-black soul rings slowly lit up from Wang Feng's body. Each ring was darker than the previous one. God-slaying spear. Wang Feng clenched his fist, and a black-purple demonic chi spread out. Then, he instantly grasped a spear with a cold, black light. So strong. Wang Feng couldn't help but exclaim the moment they held hands. The main reason was that the current god-slaying spear looked much better than before. Especially after activating his soul power, the spear body was simple and unadorned. The inscriptions on the spear shone with a black radiance, and the sharp edges of the spear blade glinted with a dazzling cold light. Although I don't know how powerful the clear sky hammer is, it shouldn't be stronger than the god-slaying spear. Wang Feng felt that if he were to unleash his dark angel martial soul now, he would only need one move to exterminate that 20,000-year-old wild flame heaven howling tiger. He would not give it any chance to escape. There's also a soul skill. Wang Feng closed his eyes and sensed for a moment. Suddenly, streaks of blood-red lines gushed out from the body of the spear. The originally pitch-black spear gained a bit of blood-red chi, making it look even more dazzling. This soul skill, Wang Fengxin was shocked. The blood-winged dragon beetle was a ferocious soul beast that combined attack, defense, and speed. The scariest thing about it was its blood that could drive soul masters crazy, and then absorb their energy for its own use. It was considered a very evil and powerful soul beast. It's a soul skill that combines attack and defense. Wang Feng took a deep breath. He suddenly looked at his back and realized that he had 2 more wings. Wings that were filled with blood-red energy. The aura on his body was greatly enhanced. Wang Feng casually waved his hand, and the god-slaying spear shot out a terrifying blood-red light. A violent explosion came directly from afar. Countless blood-red lights blended into the ground and absorbed the energy of the microorganisms on the ground. I can still fly. Wang Feng used his soul power to control the wings, and he slowly rose into the air. All my attributes are doubled, and my attack power is doubled. I have flying blood-red wings, and the god-slaying spear's attack has the effect of blood devour. It also has a long-range attack. Wang Fengxin was secretly surprised. This was a soul skill that strengthened all aspects. It wasn't just a soul skill. It was similar to the effect of martial soul true body possession, but a 6-year 10,000 soul beast was indeed extraordinary. And its flying speed was not slow. It was much faster than Wang Feng running by himself, and the effect of blood devour was similar to the blood of the blood-winged dragon beetle. It could make the enemy go crazy and devour the enemy's soul power to strengthen itself. My 4th soul skill shall be called soul-devouring blood wings? Wang Feng thought for a while. Having the ability to fly was Wang Feng's greatest gain. It meant that he could fight in the air. It's a pity that I can only use the different forms of the chaotic green lotus one by one. Wang Feng sighed softly. Otherwise, with the god-slaying spear in one hand and the black lotus of destruction in the other, he might really look like the demon ancestor Ra. Wait, there seems to be one? Wang Feng looked at the corpse of the blood-winged dragon beetle. The soul ring disappeared, and as the red lotus karmic fire burned, the huge corpse quickly turned into ashes. However, there was a sparkling soul bone lying in the middle of the corpse. Wang Feng was stunned. He didn't expect this blood-winged dragon beetle to have a soul bone. It shouldn't be with this blood-winged dragon beetle's power. It shouldn't have a soul bone. Could it be? Wang Fengxin was moved. He walked over and looked at this shining soul bone. It looks like a skull? Wang Feng looked at it. This soul bone had a spine and a sternum. It looked like a torso bone, and it exuded streaks of blood-red crystalline color. This is an unexpected gain, Wang Feng thought. He wasn't in a hurry to absorb this blood-winged dragon beetle's torso bone. Instead, he kept it in his soul tool. A 60,000-year soul bone was extraordinary, but his abilities had increased tremendously. He still needed some time to adapt before he took a look. This torso bone didn't overlap with his Xianming armor. That was because the Xianming armor was an external soul bone. I'll think about it when the time comes. This blood-winged dragon beetle's torso bone should be very strong. But I still need to adapt to my current abilities first. Wang Feng shook his head. His abilities had increased tremendously during this trip. After absorbing a 60,000-year soul ring, his physique had increased greatly. At least, Wang Feng was now confident that he could escape from a titled Doulu. If he took out his Pangu axe, he could even put up a fight against a weaker titled Doulu. If the soul-killing spear was classified as one of the 5 grades, Huoyu Hao's chances of winning against a soul Douluo were very high. If his opponent was a very strong soul Douluo, he might not be able to defeat him, but he might still lose. If he used his Pangu axe, no one below the titled Douluo level would survive. But there's a huge difference between every rank in the titled Douluo level. Wang Feng shook his head. There was a huge difference between every rank in the titled Douluo level. If his opponent was a rank 99 ultimate Douluo, Wang Feng estimated that he would need to be at least rank 70 to be confident of winning. But this was only an estimate. He would only know when he reached that rank. Furthermore, this estimate was only based on Wang Feng's current strength. The chaotic green lotus still had many other forms. Most importantly, Wang Feng hadn't added soul rings to his other 2 martial souls. End of chapter. Chapter 286. First, he was afraid that he would not be able to withstand it. Because of his triplet martial soul, every additional soul ring would increase the power his body could withstand. This was also why Tang Haoan Grandmaster did not ask Tang San to add soul rings to the clear sky hammer in the early stages. The Pangu axe was so powerful that Wang Feng did not know what soul ring to add to it. Furthermore, the Pangu axe itself did not need to evolve. It was different from the chaotic green lotus. The chaotic green lotus was not mature, so it could transform into different forms according to the level of its soul power. Therefore, it needed soul rings. As long as the Pangu axe was infused with soul power and could withstand its power, it could be used. Its power was completely related to the strength of one's body and soul power. The Pangu axe did not need any fancy soul skills. Wang Feng felt that one swing of the axe was enough. Returning to the most basic power, it was just like how Wang Feng saw Pangu use the axe to split the heavens and earth. It was simple and straightforward. Adding soul rings to the Pangu axe would only improve it a little. As for the Dark Angel, when his soul power was higher, he could try adding soul rings to it. This was also Wang Feng's plan. After thinking about everything, Wang Feng took out a black robe and a mask from his soul tool and put it on. As he knew that using the Pangu axe would cause his clothes to explode, Wang Feng was naturally well prepared. It's about time to leave. Wait, this aura, it seems to be the Titan giant ape? Erming? Wang Feng suddenly looked in a certain direction in surprise. After thinking for a while, Wang Feng quickly ran in that direction. Dong dong dong. At the same time, Qian Renshue's location. At this moment, Qian Renshue was sitting cross-legged, absorbing the soul ring of the wild flame sky-howling tiger. As for Meng Xinji and the other 2, they were standing in a triangular formation in front of Qian Renshue. Unfortunately, Qian Renshue did not open his eyes and did not see their terrified expressions. The 3 soul Douluo were extremely nervous. Their faces were full of cold sweat. Because in front of them, a Titan giant ape the size of a small mountain was staring at them. He walked around from the central lake and came out to take a look according to his elder brother's instructions. However, not long after he came out, the light pillar disappeared. Since it disappeared, he continued to walk around. As he turned, he first encountered these few humans in front of him. At this moment, Ming was staring at the three soul Douluos in a slightly dazed manner. What should I do? Do you want me to kill them? That way, I will have an explanation when I go back. I think it's better if I don't kill it. Big Brother taught me not to kill as I please. Moreover, that wild flame howling sky tiger is not content with its lot. It often kills in the forest. With that thought in mind, the Titan giant ape raised its foot, intending to leave. However, at this moment, protect His Highness. Get it under control. Meng Shenji's eyes widened. He thought that the Titan giant ape was going to kick him, so he yelled out loudly. Hearing that, Ji Lin's sky ivy was like a creeper, instantly covering the Titan giant ape's body and controlling the Titan giant eye's body. Bai Baoshan's heavenly star furnace directly released a huge light barrier, enveloping the four of them. The Titan giant ape. I wanted to let you go, but you actually dared to hit me? He was furious. Then, the three of them started fighting. A 60,000-year Titan giant ape was one of the overlords of the great star Do forest. Its strength was naturally terrifying. Fortunately, Meng Shenji and the other two were Soul Douluo, and they were a combination of control and defense. Although their offensive strength was not strong, their restraining ability was terrifying. This was especially so for Bai Baoshan's heavenly star furnace. It could be said that it blocked most of the Titan giant ape's attacks. Coupled with Meng Shenji's black demon and Ji Lin's sky ivy, they were able to fight to a draw. No one could do anything to the other. However, the more they fought, the more excited the Titan giant ape became. There was a light barrier above the three of them. It was Bai Baoshan's heavenly star furnace. Every strike of the Titan giant ape landed on the light shield, causing ripples to appear on it. We can't beat it. Meng Shenji's face turned pale. This beast's offensive strength is too strong. It has far surpassed that of an ordinary 60,000-year soul beast. I'm afraid that in another 5 minutes, Baoshan's heavenly star furnace true body will be destroyed. Most of our restraining abilities are ineffective against it. An ordinary 100-year Titan giant ape could fight against a 10,000-year soul Douluo, let alone a 60,000-year Titan giant ape. Even a titled Douluo might not be able to beat it. Although the three of them were soul Douluo, they were still far from being a true titled Douluo. Why did we encounter this beast, the Titan giant ape? But His Highness is at the crucial point of absorbing the soul ring. We can't leave so easily. Otherwise, we will be attacked by the soul ring. Ji Lin's expression was also very bad. It was one thing to encounter a bloodwing dragon beetle, but now they even encountered a Titan giant ape. Was their luck so bad? Crack, crack, crack. At this moment, the light barrier formed by the heavenly star furnace started to crack. The two of you, lend me some soul power. Bai Baoshan shouted. We have to hold on until His Highness wakes up. Only then can we retreat. Meng Shenji and Ji Lin nodded. They walked behind Bai Baoshan and poured their soul power into him. Dong dong dong. Loud sounds could be heard. Every time the Titan giant ape's foot landed, the three of them turned paler. The Titan giant ape was like a child, looking at ants on the ground and stepping on them excitedly. At this moment, Qian Rinxue's eyes flickered. If this goes on, even if His Highness wakes up, we won't be able to leave. The three of them became more and more anxious, and their expressions became worse and worse. However, Qian Rinxue still did not wake up. Dong. The light barrier suddenly cracked. The three of them spat out a mouthful of blood. At this moment, a cold light filled with malevolence suddenly shot over from afar. The Titan giant ape seemed to have sensed this cold light as well. It was slightly fearful and subconsciously took a step back. Clang! A long spear was placed in front of the three of them, blocking the Titan giant ape's footsteps. The body of the spear was emitting a black flame that curled up and rose. The three of them were shocked. They glanced at the spear. Due to their injuries, they felt a little dizzy. Immediately after, they heard a hoarse voice. "Little ape, let me fight with you. Follow me." Hearing this, the three of them turned and looked into the distance. They saw a mysterious person wearing a black robe and a white mask. At this moment, there was a pair of blood-red wings on his back. He was quietly floating in midair. The Titan giant ape was obviously attracted as well. Its gaze landed on the mysterious black-robed man. Then it walked over. At this moment, the black-robed man turned his hand, and the terrifying spear that was covered in blood-red patterns and emitted a ferocious aura instantly returned to the mysterious black-robed man's hand. Seeing this, the three of them heaved a sigh of relief. "Senior, thank you for saving us? May I know Senior's name?" Dream Shinji shouted loudly. This mysterious black-robed man only had a pitch-black soul ring. They could not tell its rank, but they must have used some special method to hide it. However, it was definitely very strong. Just the murderous aura emitted by the spear made the three of them feel a sense of fear. However, the black-robed man did not answer. He flapped his blood-red wings and instantly disappeared from the spot. The Titan giant ape behind him also patted its chest, roared a few times, and followed after the figure. There will be more at night. End of chapter. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.